About 1 minute live. A lot to cover today. A lot of new polls out we're going to touch on. And of course, Friday is open phone, so that means any and everything you have on your mind is fair game to call in about. Let's see, where are we? All right. 1 minute live. Here we go. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. This is where Magga comes to talk.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with...
All right, it sure is. My name is Brian Craig. This is Florida's longest running radio show, the Steve Kane Show. On the radio since 1977, celebrating 46 years on the radio this year. Welcome, one and all. We've got a lot to cover on the program today. A lot of new things in the news that we're going to touch on. And I missed something, which is a very rare thing, with a caller yesterday on the program. And it's very rare that I missed something with a caller, and I'll tell you about that in a little bit. And I believe it was yesterday. It could have been the day before. I talk so much, I don't know what day is which, but it was either yesterday or the day before. I think it was yesterday. But I'll tell you what happened in a little bit with a caller who, I wouldn't say they got something by me. They attempted to do something, and I didn't catch it until later when I was thinking about it. So we'll get into that and cover a whole bunch of new things. And, of course, Friday is open phones on the program. We call it Open Magga Mike Friday. And on Open Magga Mike Friday, it's the one day a week that you are free to call in about any and everything on your mind. You are not limited to the topics that Steve and I bring up on the program. So it's Open Magga Mike Friday. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. Now, before I get into the something that's incredibly huge that is in discussions right now, there was a defeat in the courts. It's a little vague that DeSantis suffered as far as drag shows here in Florida. And I got a question for you about that. Okay, it is now accepted that Ron DeSantis is wearing high heels, right, in those specialty shoes. Does that mean that the Republican debate with Ron DeSantis is in fact a drag show with Ron DeSantis wearing high heels? I don't know. I'll leave that up to you guys to decide. But there's a story in Trending Politics, and Trending Politics is pretty credible, and it's a reprint of a story in TMZ. And TMZ, without question, is highly, highly credible. TMZ is a celebrity gossip site, and TMZ stands for 30-mile zone. It means a 30-mile zone around Los Angeles, around Hollywood. And they sometimes have gossip beyond your typical celebrity stuff. And it's something new that I think is in the credible discussion stages. It involves our great president, Donald Trump. Donald Trump may be open. This is in Trending Politics and TMZ. Donald Trump may be open to debating his Republican rivals at the next debate, which of course would be Nikki Haley, Ron DeSanctimonious, Vivek Ramaswamy, Christie, and whoever is left hanging on. This has been confirmed by TMZ, what I'm about to share. According to TMZ, Secret Service personnel were spotted at the Moody Music Building Concert Hall at the University of Alabama, where the fourth Republican presidential primary debate will be held on December 6th. It's hosted on News Nation and moderated by Megyn Kelly. The same day, sources with direct knowledge told TMZ that Secret Service agents were seen scoping out the venue. Now, this next part, and I know what you may be saying, well, there's a bunch of presidential candidates there. Well, Donald Trump is the only Republican presidential candidate with Secret Service protection. None of the others have Secret Service protection. Only Donald Trump. Okay? And they say that in TMZ. TMZ reports the only candidate with Secret Service personnel is President Trump, who will be protected by the Secret Service for the rest of his life after being president. Of course, Trump has skipped the previous debates. So this is an interesting development. He's the only one with Secret Service protection, and Secret Service have not been to any of the other previous debates. What are your thoughts on this? What if President Trump were to decide to go to the debate? Would you think that's a good idea? Is it a bad idea? I don't think he should do it. I don't think he should do it. I mean, for him to do it would be to elevate these losers. I mean, there's a bunch of new polls out. Ron DeSantis has fallen to 4th in New Hampshire. I shared that yesterday. Nikki Haley's moved up a little bit just because she's on TV constantly. But the Republican primary is really over. There's no need for him to participate in these mock debates, which are just completely stupid, and the debates themselves are stupid. I mean, they're absurd. It's very amateur hour. It's like they're mock debates. It doesn't make any sense to have these debates. Who are they debating that they're really running against? It's really absurd. It's just a habit that the media have, because debates, even in the primaries, are usually big media draws, and this time around it's not. I mean, viewer draws. This time around it's not, because no one cares. It's really been decided. And for President Trump to do a debate is risky. Not that he would lose a debate, but if he were to go to a debate and debate these losers, grifters, and wannabes, they would all be targeting him, trying to get the viral soundbite. And there's no, not that he can't handle it, of course he can handle it, but there's no benefit in him doing a debate whatsoever, especially on this News Nation, which I have News Nation. I've watched it a couple times. I watched it when that lady prison guard was on the run with that prisoner, and they had some good coverage on that. I watched it then. But News Nation, isn't that where Fredo's at? Chris Cuomo, isn't he there? Who else is at News Nation? What other liberal jerks they have over there? And I wonder how Chris Cuomo and these others over there are liking the fact that Megyn Kelly's coming in and taking the whole thing over. I don't know. But regardless of all that, I hope he does not do the debate. What benefit is there's zero benefit, only gain. But if the Secret Service are there, that means something is in the works. That there is a possibility that he will be there, since none of the others have Secret Service protection. Or President Trump could be bluffing the rest of the candidates and then not show up at the end. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. Why are the Secret Service at the venue? What are your thoughts on President Trump going and debating these losers and grifters and wannabes? And also, that debate is still on. I was shocked to see this has not been canceled. It's at the end of the month. I think, is it on the 30th? Ron DeSantis is going to debate Gavin Newsom. Now, this debate between Gavin Newsom and Ron DeSantis was set up months and months and months ago, many months ago. It seems like 6 months ago. I don't know how long. It's been a long time. But it was set up when he was still a player, before Ron DeSantis self-destructed. And now that he's fallen so low in the polls, he's a joke. He's become a meme. This debate between Gavin Newsom and Ron DeSantis is being moderated by Sean Hannity. If I were Hannity, I'd be embarrassed to moderate that debate. You might as well get two state representatives, one from California, one from Florida that no one's heard of, even people in their own district, and have them debate. It's a meaningless debate. You know, it really is. And I bet you, because Gavin Newsom's a pretty tall guy, I bet you the reason that DeSantis started wearing the high heels was because of this debate with Gavin Newsom. But they thought when this was first set up many months ago that Donald Trump would either be in jail right now, or MAGA voters, that we would abandon him because of all these ridiculous court cases. And they thought DeSantis would be the front runner, and they had this fantasy of the two left coast and East Coast governors debating each other, and they were going to be the presidential candidates. And this debate, when it was originally discussed with Newsom and DeSantis, was supposed to be kind of like an early presidential debate. But that's completely fizzled out, at least so far as Ron DeSantis is concerned. So your thoughts on all of this are certainly welcome. There's a lot of other news that I'm going to get to after the break. Our number 1-888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Back after this.
Don't sit on the sidelines.
Yeah, I mean, why else would the Secret Service be there if there was not something in the works or something being discussed or the possibility of something? There's no other reason that they would be there. None. All right. Oops. Sorry, guys. A little earthquake action. And guys, don't forget, if you've not done it, order your Mighty Magga Lion. There's a link pinned in the chat as well as a link in the description of the video. Or you can just go to the website, MightyMaggaLion.com. This is available exclusively through me. My wife and I partnered up with Dee, who's one of our moderators in the chat. We designed and had made the Mighty Magga Lion. This is not a drop ship item. We had these made in advance, so they are limited in supply. They are limited in number. This is the only Trump-inspired merchandise with the MAGA hat. It's spectacular. And this is the lion that I took to Trump's star on the Walk of Fame in Hollywood last weekend on Saturday. And this is the hottest Christmas present of the year. I made 2 trips to the post office yesterday. 2 trips. I shipped out so many of these Mighty Magga Lions. So go to MightyMaggaLion.com and order yours. If you order multiple, you get a discount. So go to MightyMaggaLion.com. Makes a great Christmas gift for everyone on your Christmas gift giving list, guys. All right, let me get organized here. All right, hold on. There we go. So strange. All right, here we go.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at True Oldie.
All right, welcome back, one and all. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. I was listening to Steve talk about how Lighthouse Medical Center rid him of all of those neuropathy symptoms, and their neuropathy treatment is really the only place I know that has a treatment for neuropathy that works and rids you of those symptoms. So if you or someone you know or love have neuropathy, you definitely want to call Lighthouse Medical Center. But they have a new treatment for hair restoration. That's for both men and women. And women are not candidates for hair transplant surgery. Women go to such extremes when their hair is thinning. A friend of my wife's got her scalp tattooed. I'm not kidding. Her scalp tattooed to try to cover up, make it a little darker It's crazy. But the hair restoration treatment at Lighthouse Medical Center is painless, non-invasive, non-surgical. It's an in-office procedure, and I've seen it done on a female patient, and it will restore your hair for both men and women. Give them a call. Make sure you mention you heard about them on the radio, and you get a no-charge consultation on that, okay? You can find them online at lighthousemedicalcenter.com, or give them a call, 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. All right, our number 1-888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. This is Christie on Boca Raton. I got two important things I'd like to tell you about what happened yesterday. Judge Feinstein in New York took the gag off President Trump.
Well, that's not exactly true. An appeals judge, an appellate court, temporarily lifted the gag order, not the lunatic judge. He didn't do it.
He's outside the court.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear the name. Yeah, it was an appellate judge overruled the clown. Yeah, that's a big one.
Another important thing that's going to hit America right now. Did you hear about the eye drop that has bacteria in it?
Say that again? I didn't hear what you said.
There's an eye drop like in CVS and
yeah,
the Lanker or something like that. It's causing blindness in people.
Well, I'll tell you this: when it comes to eye drops, I don't know too much about eye drops, other than I've really never had a good experience with eye drops of any kind. So it's always best. You know, whenever I need something like that, you know what I get? I get that saline. Those saline drops. Eye drops are bad news. I've never had a good experience with them. All right, some good intel. All right, take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Montana, Mark.
Hey, Mark. What's up?
I was thinking about something. I don't know if Donald Trump would be that way, but maybe he feels that people think he is nervous about being in a debate. But Donald Trump is a very intelligent man, and I believe he's got something really planned out up his sleeve.
Well, he could be faking them out. You know, there's in my view, unless, you know, President Trump knows more than we know on all these things, but I just don't see any gain in him going to a debate with these losers. Do you? Unless, you know, it's very, you know, there's a possibility that he's going just to be in the audience, you know. He could score a seat.
I agree with you, because they always have a Democrat running the debates, and they just attack him to get him to react, and then they use that on the media.
Yeah.
Donald Trump has surprised more people when they thought he was at rock bottom.
Well, he's not at rock bottom now. He's on top of the world. In fact, there's some new polls out where he has a double-digit lead over Joe Biden. I'm going to get to him a little later. So he's on top of the world.
He is, and it's just amazing. Like you said, every time they want to bring him down, they just keep pushing him up.
Well, that's why he's so successful in business. You know, he's been dealt with things, you know, when it comes to business, right? And you come back. That's the difference between a government worker and a successful business person in the private sector.
You have to be a really intelligent person with common sense to have so many international businesses.
Mm-hmm.
People don't realize that.
Yeah.
I look forward to see what he has up his sleeve.
He's got something. I mean, what if he walked in the middle and just sat down in the audience? That'd freak everybody out.
He's amazing. So.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, you know what Trump. Oh yeah, please do. You know what President Trump. He's great at so many things, but one of the things he's best at is media manipulation and marketing. You know, that's probably his greatest talent. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. It's Berta from Texas. I have to call in. Don't worry. Don't worry. You know what? With Trump, he's doing so good right now, Brian. He's going there to mop the floors with those candidates.
Okay. So you think he's going there to debate them?
He's going in to debate them and clear the field, see who survives.
But he's already destroyed them. He in New Hampshire, he's like 42 points ahead. In New Hampshire.
Exactly.
So he's but hasn't he already wiped the floor with all of them?
Not yet in the mind of a lot of voters because they claim he's too scared. He's going there to clear the field.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the ammo, he's got the numbers, and look, DeSantis is going to be the biggest joke. He's going to be the first one out is going to be DeSantis. I can vote for that one. He's going to be out. Chris and Nikki Haley. I think he's going to wipe the floor with them because that was her boss.
Yeah.
So it's going to be him and Ramaswamy probably because both of them talk. One has a little bit more charisma in saying the things, and I personally like the blunt guy, which is Trump. But he's going there as a bulldozer to clear.
All right, we'll find out, Berta. We'll find out. All right, thanks for the call. All right, great call so far early on. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. It's Mark from Jupiter.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, I kind of agree with the last caller there, but I think it's to publicly, personally deliver the coup de grace to all of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
For those that don't know what that is, it's the final death
Mm-hmm.
by animals.
Yeah, so you're saying the same thing. So you believe that he is actually planning on going to this final debate?
Well, has anything ever surprised you about him?
No, he doesn't do. He's unpredictable, Donald Trump. Unpredictable. The only thing you can predict about him is he's always going to win in the end.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. All right.
It's just like him to pull something like that.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Right there, publicly.
Well, it would be beautiful. It would be beautiful. I'd be watching.
And everybody would be watching.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. News Nation would be, like, really hot after that. All right. Take care from Jupiter. All right. Take care. Oh, man. All right. Well, I'm surprised. I thought people would think I was crazy by suggesting this story was credible, and people seem to think that he's going to go there and debate. All right, our number 1-888-GO-CANE-1, and it is open phones, open Magga mic Friday. Any and everything on your mind is fair game on Friday's show. You're not limited to the topics I bring up, as you can see by the one caller who wanted to talk about eye drops. Yeah, that's how open the phones are. Yeah, we've had worse calls. Remember the guy that called in about the peas? That was a great call. Oh, my goodness. But it was open phone, so I had to talk about peas for a moment. All right, we'll take our break for the bottom of the hour. It's the Steve Kane Show. Florida's. I said South Florida out of habit. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. And I believe this may be the longest-running radio show in the country with the same host. I really believe that's very possible. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're going to really love it.
Let me ask you, because I've been doing some research on it, and I have not yet found one with the same. Do you think it's possible that this is the longest-running radio show with the same host? 46, going on 47 years. Let me know what you think, because I can't find one that's longer. They say the longest-running radio program is the Grand Ole Opry, but that doesn't have the same people that they had on it back in the 30s. You know what I mean? So that would rule that one out against this one. No one's impressed with Nikki Haley. That she's just a media creation, and there's a lot of women in the media, and they get all excited. Let's see. Yeah, the Grand Ole Opry started in 1925, but they don't have the same person.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Come out to the newly renovated poker room at PBKC, open daily for cash.
No.
High-end giveaways, mega bad beach
I've not been able to
tournaments like the Bar
find one.
Florida World Championships this week with big guaranteed events, live streaming, and more. You can also play your favorite casino table games like Ultimate Texas Hold'em or 3-card poker with $5 minimum tables 7 days a week. For more information, go to ppkennelclub.com.
Hey, good morning, Brian and Lisa. And my husband and I received our My Pillow 2.0 that we ordered with Kane the other day, the buy one get one free, and they're our first My Pillows, and we love them. We absolutely love them. They're just absolutely marvelous. Yeah, I'm so glad. I got slippers on the way too.
Go to mypillow.com and use our promo code Kane and check out KANE and buy your My Pillow 2.0. Right now, buy one, get one free. You can also order by phone, toll free, 800-716-48.
Yeah, I'm looking now. I can't find.
7879, promo code Kane.
The following message is sponsored by the Florida Department of Elder Affairs, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Sarah is 64 and loves to go.
No, I can't find one. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. This is the most pro-MAGA program you'll find anywhere. This is our bottom of the hour break. We'll be coming back shortly. I'm taking more calls since it's open phones.
963-5337 or go to floridashine.org.
Just because you're getting older doesn't mean you have to feel old. This is Brian Craig, and I want to tell
Oh yeah, if you love Trump, this is the place to be.
Dr. Mitch Matez at the Bio Station West El Rey and hormone replacement pellet therapy. Hormone replacement pellet therapy is all natural. What it does is restore your hormones to where they were when you were in your 20s. You'll feel younger, you'll have more energy, you'll get your sex drive back, and women, hormone replacement pellet therapy completely stops and reverses all the signs and symptoms of menopause. Mood swings gone, night sweats gone. I've met listeners before and after hormone replacement pellet therapy with Dr. Matez, but when I first meet them, they're like Joe Biden, and no one wants to be like him. And then I meet them again after they began hormone replacement pellet therapy.
Yeah.
And they have their energy back.
I cannot find one.
They're standing up tall, and they
I think we got the record.
now, it's always a free consultation with Dr. Matez when you tell him you heard about him on the radio. 561-320-8893. 561-320-8893.
Mm-hmm.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 46 years on the air.
All right, we are back. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian.
Yes, you're on the air.
How you doing this morning?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Oh, man, you know, I'm doing fine, but after listening to what you just said, I don't really think he should be doing that.
What, Trump debating?
Yes, right. Why should he do that? Let them feed off of each, you know, their passions. And I don't think that Megyn Kelly is going to give, you know, a just, you know, area to really speak, because I think she's in for DeSantis, is she not?
Yeah, she, you know, it's very inappropriate. Her and her husband went out to dinner with Ron DeSantis and Walmart Melania the night before she interviewed him on her program. You know, you don't go, that seems inappropriate. Yeah, she's friends with DeSantis and his wife.
Exactly. So I don't understand why he would even consider himself, he has to prove anything. He has did. People can't see what he did 4 years versus to where we are now, then they will never see it.
Yeah, and you know, when you watch these candidates, they keep telling you what they're going to do. Trump's already done it.
He's already done it. Exactly. That's why I said, why would you even do it? Just think about it. Biden sat in the basement and went through his campaign. Let them feed off of each other. They're parasites.
Mm-hmm.
Pray to God he does not take any of his cabinet. They're only going to destroy him. That's what they're out for. He never gets a fair play with anything. And I really feel Megyn Kelly, she's not going to be justifiable in this debate.
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
They all want to pick and just feed him. I wouldn't do it.
No, I agree with you. I don't want President Trump to do it either. I do not want him to debate these losers. No, why should he?
Yeah, you don't have to prove anything. It's done.
Yeah. All right. I appreciate the call. Yeah. See, I agree with that guy. By the way, I've been researching this over the last week or so, and I was just doing another search during the break, about being the longest running radio show. The Steve Kane Show is the longest running radio show in Florida. That's hands down, and I established that years ago, and several years ago. So we've established a record that's going to be difficult to break, but. As far as being the longest running radio show in America with the same host, I've not been able to find a show that's been on the air longer. I know they credit the Grand Ole Opry, which has been on the air since the 20s. Okay, but that's like a music show they've had. I'm sure they've had more than one host in the last 100 years. Well, 98 years. So I don't count the Grand Ole Opry. So the Steve Kane Show, as far as I can tell, I'm not saying this in like our promos or imaging or anything, but we used to say the longest running radio show in South Florida, and then someone said, you know what, you might be the longest running radio show in Florida, and I researched that and found out that this is the longest running radio show in Florida by many years, and now that we're approaching that 47-year mark, I've not been able to find a radio show in America. And I hate to put an accent on it, that little addition with the same host, because that's what makes it a radio show. These other things go through changes. So I think there's I can't say this with 100% confidence, but I think it's more likely than not that the Steve Kane Show is the longest running radio show in the United States with the same host. And let me tell you, that's an amazing accomplishment. It really is. And in a business like this, and with an audience and out there that supported the show all these years, and I've done a lot of research on it. It's hard when you go nationally. It's a little more difficult to research that, but I've not been able to find one. So if you guys got any intel on that, send it to me in a DM, and I will check it out. But I'd very much like to establish that fact, because I think that's a pretty good thing. I'll get a plaque made and give it to Steve on the cruise or something if we can establish that. But I'd like to establish the longest running radio show in the United States with the same host, although the plaque wouldn't have with the same host. It'd be the longest running radio show plaque. And I'd like to establish that. And I get a nice plaque made with like a microphone on it or something. I don't know. We do something. And I'll tell you another reason that it's something to think about. If that is true, because I'm thinking long term, I think Steve Kane should be in the Radio Hall of Fame, if that is true. There is a Radio Hall of Fame. Michael Savage is in it. I don't understand why that is. You can probably buy your way into it, But if this is the longest running radio show in the United States, the Steve Kane Show, Steve should be in the Radio Hall of Fame. Don't you all think? Absolutely. All right. Well, we'll move back to the issues. Our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1. But if anyone can, if you guys out there in the audience, I bring this up because I want you guys in the audience to help me research this. Because if it is true, I would think we would submit whatever process there is to get Steve in the Radio Hall of Fame. I think that would be amazing. Would I be in the Hall of Fame too if Steve is? I don't know. Would they give me a little thing at the end? Usually I get left out of those big things. Not by Steve's fault. Like the Sun Sentinel did a story on Steve that was on the front page of the paper about the Steve Kane Show. And the liberal jerks over there wouldn't even interview me. Can you believe this? They interviewed people that hate Steve, but not me. But I really would like to. That would be, Steve's birthday's in March, and I don't know. And if we could establish that and start a process to get Steve in the Radio Hall of Fame. I'm not kidding. In the Radio Hall of Fame, that'd be a pretty big birthday present, wouldn't it? And Steve's got a big old birthday coming up. I'm not going to tell you which one it is. Some of you may know. But I think that'd be pretty cool. So you guys out there, I don't want to research it on the air. But if you can help me research this, there's all kinds of ways to get in touch with me off the air through DMs on Instagram. Twitter, my Facebook group, or something like that, reach out to me in those directions, okay? All right, so let's get back to the news and the issues. And if he does get in the Radio Hall of Fame, I would like to have a little mention, you know, unlike the Sun Sentinel, who didn't even... They interviewed people. When they did this big article on Steve, front page, on a weekend edition of the newspaper. They interviewed people for that article that had not even talked to Steve in 20 years. But they wouldn't interview me because, you know what they said? Oh, it'd be too one-sided, too biased. Well, thanks a lot, jerks. That's why your paper is about as thick as my high school newspaper is, and it's irrelevant now. All right, but let's get back to the issues in the news. You know, media bias, because we talk a lot about media bias, fake news media bias. Media bias is not just in a spin on a story. Like there's a story out there and they have a certain angle to it, right? That's bias, but that's something. Bias also, media bias also includes what stories the media don't report on or underemphasize, okay? Like there was one yesterday, it's not the one I'm going to talk about, but there was a story yesterday where it was announced that Joe Biden is not going to be prosecuted for having the classified documents illegally in his home where his junkie son was at, right? Not going to be prosecuted. The mainstream media didn't report that story yesterday. Now, you probably know about it because you don't follow the mainstream fake news media. But the CNN, MSNBC types, New York Times, Washington Post, they didn't report it. And if any of them did, it was hidden. Because they don't want people to know that Joe Biden's not going to be prosecuted for doing something illegal with classified documents in his home, because they want to keep this fake case going against the great Donald Trump. But this story here is another one that very little reporting on. If things were reversed, it would be a national dialogue. Police in California have made an arrest of the Jewish man Paul Kessler, who was killed during a protest in California. Fox News reported that 50-year-old Ventura County Community College professor Loe Abadefa Fada Al-Nahaji, I don't know, I'm mispronouncing his name, but whatever, you get the idea, was arrested. He's been charged with involuntary manslaughter and has bail at $1 million. Where's the hate crime? You know, and this was a political event. That escalates the severity of the crime. He obviously killed him because he was a Jew supporting Israel. That's a hate crime. And since when do you get bail when you kill someone? The police spokesperson told Fox News there'll be additional information. We're not providing additional information at this moment. And it goes on. The Daily Mail reported last Wednesday that this Muslim Palestinian terrorist supporting professor was a suspect in Kessler's death. Police had raided his home. Ventura police said at the time they had a suspect. They not identified. They not made an arrest. Now they did. And he's not just a professor of nothing. He's married to a Palestinian woman who's a professor of economics. And he came to the United States in the 1990s after he had taught in the United Arab Emirates. He's openly supported and admired Palestinian terrorists, etc., etc. You know, this is insane to me. Insane. I got to get a paragraph here from this media outlet, a paragraph there. What I just shared with you was from like 4 different media outlets, and we still don't even have a full story. If a Jew had killed a Palestinian at the same event, there'd be a national dialogue. The media would stop down, and it would be hate crime, hate crime, hate crime. We had a Jew murdered in America because he was a Jew by a Palestinian professor, a Muslim professor supporting terrorism in California. What's going on here? And it seems that they were reluctant to even arrest. Took them a long time, didn't it? And the media, of course, are covering it up. Do you know they found the bodies of 2 dead Israeli hostages, female, yesterday? was reported. One was a soldier, and one was a woman in her 60s. Where's the highlight of that? Tired of these news reports that say Israel continues its war against Gaza. The terrorists came in and grabbed people and have taken them back and done God only knows what they did to these women before they killed them. And don't think that the older women don't get raped too. You know, we've had some women POWs captured. Remember Jessica Lynch? She was the one that was rescued. The Iraqis raped her without mercy. It's not covered. And in the first Gulf War in 1991, there was a female helicopter pilot of ours that was shot down and captured. She was one of the first women to graduate West Point in like 78, 79, whenever they started doing that. She was raped without mercy. She never reported it because she thought it would hurt the role of women in the military. What do you think they kidnapped the women for? You know why? It's part of their culture, the terrorists, to rape them. That's what they do. The Taliban was doing. They captured. Remember that one? I cannot remember her name. Oh my! You know, the American girl who was some liberal do-gooder who went over to Afghanistan to do good, and she got kidnapped and became a bride of the Taliban leader. Obama killed her. He took out the Taliban leader knowing she was there. Remember her? She was passed around and raped by multiple Taliban leaders until she got to the big guy, and then she got killed by Obama in an airstrike. The same day he was doing selfies with a selfie stick, making a comedy video. Yeah, that's Obama. You know, where's the outrage about all these things? You would think Israel was the aggressor. You would think Israel were the bad guys following the media. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. Back after this.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Brian Craig here. I've been telling you about how my chiropractor, Dr. Philip Appleton, has rid me of pain from a knee injury and arthritis pain with his laser away pain treatment. But don't just take my word for it. This is one of our callers who called me live on the radio to tell me how chiropractic physician Dr. Philip Appleton helped him with his laser away pain treatment. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name's Sean. I'm calling from Boca Raton. I want to
It's disgusting.
once again, I listened to this show in the mid-'80s. Thanks for introducing me to Dr. Appleton, Brian and Steve. I went in there last week. I had a knee problem. At one session, I feel so much better. I brought my mother there yesterday. She has a problem with her right side or her arm. She's right-handed. She feels better. It's amazing. And for people out there that are dealing with pain, believe me, there is an alternative. Go in there for the free consultation. FRE free.
I'm answering some DMs.
Give Dr. Appleton a call right now. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. Online, AppletonChiro.com. Open Monday through Saturday. Appointments not necessary. And walk-ins are welcome. 954-973-0710.
Good morning, Brian. Lisa, and my husband and I received our My Pillow 2.0 that we ordered with Kane the other day to buy one get one free, and they're our first My Pillows, and we love them. We absolutely love them. They're just absolutely marvelous. Yeah, I'm so glad. I got the slippers on the way too.
I got a lot of DMs during that last segment because I was telling people to DM me. But none of them are about the radio, the longest running radio show. They're about other things. I'll try to answer as many as I can, guys. But I can't answer them all. Yeah, I was telling my wife yesterday, I feel like I've gotten to the point where I need like an assistant. Not that I'm getting an assistant, but...
This is Steve Kane. I want to tell you about my favorite restaurant in all of South Florida, Peeps Plus in Coral Springs. Wings just the way you like them. Plum
All right. Callers on hold, stand by. Don't forget, it's Medicare open enrollment period, the only time of year you can make changes to your existing Medicare policy, and there's only a couple of weeks left, like 3 weeks left. Once it's over, you cannot make changes. Call Debbie at I Will Advisors. No matter where you are in the state of Florida, Debbie at I Will Advisors can help you with your Medicare. Her family have been with the Steve Kane Show since 1994, helping Steve Kane listeners with their Medicare each and every year. That's right, they have. And they do great work. You've heard me and Steve talk about the great work they do. Here's the number, 954-753-8080. If you call early and get an answering machine, or over the weekend you get an answering machine, leave a message. They will call you back. 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, how are you? Good morning to you.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, so question for you. You know, we all know about our media, our lovely media, and how they handle things. What is it going to take for a media to totally collapse? Because I mean, regardless of when Trump gets into the office again, 2024 can't wait. There's still going to be
well, it has collapsed. It has collapsed. If the media still had power, if they still had influence, Donald Trump wouldn't be in the 60s. DeSantis and Nikki Haley would be, all right? The media would have lost all of their influence.
You're very true. You are correct on that. It just seems like they are the poison of this country. It's never going to stop with these guys. You know, and God forbid, you know, what is it going to take? We all have to storm.
All right, okay, all right. And see what you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? You know, I'm going to tell you, this show is under attack, and that's an example of it. And I'll let me take another call or two, and I'll tell you in a bit what I missed yesterday. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. It's Roz.
Hey, Roz.
I want to say a couple of things. Number one, the reason this stuff is happening is because there's a man running this country called Barack Hussein Obama. He's a Muslim.
The president formerly known as Barry Soetoro.
Yeah, but he is a Muslim.
Well, let me tell you about that, okay? And this is an important thing. This document was well circulated in Obama's first term. Obama's mother moved to Indonesia with Barack when he was a little boy. Indonesia has the largest Muslim population in the world, larger than Saudi Arabia and all these Middle Eastern countries. And he lived there till he was 10 or 11. He began school in there in kindergarten. His mother, Barack Obama's mother, enrolled him in kindergarten. And because it's a Muslim country, one of the things they ask on school registration forms is religion. And his mother wrote down Islam. Remember, his stepfather, Lolo Soetoro, is Muslim. Lolo Soetoro is Obama's stepfather. And Obama's mother wrote down that Barack's religion was Islam when she registered him for kindergarten at age 5. So it's not Roz saying Barack Obama's Muslim. It's Obama's mother when he was 5 years old saying that he's Muslim. And that document was public. I'm sure you can still find it online. So I want people to know that his mother said he was Muslim.
Right, but let me tell you something. The Muslims hate the Jewish people with a passion. They will slit their throat. Muslim people.
Really? How'd that happen?
Stupidity and being young.
Yeah.
I was Christian. He was Muslim. I told him it wasn't going to work. He's like, "Oh, I'll let you be Christian." And you know what? He started changing. He tried to change me. He was physically abusive. They're very mean people.
Yeah.
Tell you, I lived with one, and I got divorced. And you know what? These people, what you just said about these other people getting hurt, these hostages, it's barbaric.
Mm-hmm. It's medieval. It's medieval.
Yes, and you know what? We are to stand with the Jewish people. That's what God says, and I believe that myself. That the Jews come first, and then us Gentiles come second. But he loves us all. We're grafted in the tree. And you were asking why all these things are happening. I'm not going to quote a whole Bible scripture. I don't even remember the scripture, but you can ask your wife about it. It says in the end times, people will call good bad and bad good. And that's exactly what is happening. Because all these people, all of a sudden, we're the United States, and people are rising up for Hamas.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Out of their minds.
America's fallen. I mean, think about it. On September 12th, if you would have shown people the news today, they wouldn't have believed that this was our future.
I want to know, though, why aren't they going in there and getting this guy and arresting him?
Which? Oh, Obama? Oh, okay. I don't know. Okay. Now, I want to tell you what's going on, and it happened yesterday, and I missed it, which is very unusual, but that's okay. I'll share it with you. I don't catch everything. I got a lot going on here, and stuff's happening. That caller, I told you yesterday, with the Marjorie Taylor Greene interview was the only interview I've ever done where I've been nervous, and I don't get nervous or starstruck by people, very rarely. And I've met some of the most famous people in the world. I have met my dream people that I wanted to meet that are celebrities. That'll sound stupid to you, and I wasn't nervous. But I was nervous yesterday. And yesterday, this show is on another level than it gets recognition for. I was contacted by Marjorie Taylor Greene's people about that interview. And it wasn't just Marjorie Taylor Greene's people. It was the president's people. And I don't mean Biden. I mean President Trump. Her book is at mtgbook.com. You go to the website, you verify this. It's the Trump organization that put out his picture book, that 45 book that he was selling autographed. I got a couple of those at home. Okay? It was President Trump's people that reached out to me for that interview. So that means they were listening, and they told me prior to the interview something I wish they would. I'm glad they told me, but I wish they would have told me after. But they told me right before the interview, there was a 90% chance that the president was going to be listening live to the show yesterday. And I got a very interesting call, which I'm not going to reveal the details of, after I left the radio station yesterday in regards to that, which was pretty exciting, which gives you a hint. We have always been a target of seminar callers. But now the seminar callers that are coming our way are not these bottom feeders. They have the top seminar callers calling this program. And if you don't know what a seminar caller is, they're fake callers that the Democrats have. Rush used to talk about this. He coined the seminar caller. They work for the Democrats. They call shows like this and do other things to get in the media, to get agendas. That one guy that called a few minutes ago about the media, he was a seminar caller. And if you notice, he ended it with something I'm not going to say. He started to. I cut him off before he went there because he was trying to get me to say something. We got a call. Was it yesterday's show that the Nazi called? Because I was looking for that call on the podcast this morning. I don't remember what time the call was. But a guy called in yesterday, and he said, aren't you tired of all this talk about Israel and everything? And we had a conversation, and I told him that, all about it. And we had a conversation, and it seemed normal. And then at the end, he said, we need a strong leader. And I said Trump, and he's like, no, we need a strong leader like Hitler. And I hung up on him. And the reason I hung up on him is I don't talk to Nazis. I've met Nazis and Klansmen and stuff like this in the course of my work over the years. I don't talk to Nazis. And then after the show, I realized he was a seminar caller who was sent and they got this new thing now that they've made up, right? That they made up that Trump praised Hitler, that nonsense. And that guy was a top-tier seminar caller that doesn't know me, doesn't know the show, gets a little talking point, calls in, and thinks that MAGA people support Hitler, and that was that's what he was trying to do. If I would have recognized that during the call, I would have gone that direction. But I didn't, but that's so we are under attack by the top professional seminar callers, not those bottom feeder amateurs. So that's a positive. That's a statement of our success and influence here on the Steve Kane Show. All right, if you're on hold, hang in there. We're going to take our break for the top of the hour. Come back with your calls. Now remember, Fridays is open phones. We call it Open Magga Mike Friday. One of our listeners, Christine in Pennsylvania, came up with that Open Magga Mike Friday. I didn't want to say Open Phone Fridays when we started doing that because that's what Rush used to do, and I didn't want to steal Rush's thing. And Christine's idea of Open Magga Mike Friday I thought was pretty good. I like that, don't you guys? So anything and everything you have on your mind is fair game on Friday's show. You're not limited to the topics that we bring up. Our number, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll take our break for the top of the hour. Come back. There's a lot more to discuss and your calls right after this break.
WWNN Pompano Beach, WIRK HD3 Indiantown. Programming paid for by Vic Canales Media Group. Broadcasting from the Rogue Studio. Injured recently? Call the Rogues Law Group, where winning is a habit. 561-570-5700. 561-570-5700. Rogues, winning for you and our community. Your home for the Steve Kane Show. From the Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center.
Hey guys, welcome. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. If you're one of the callers on hold, hang in there. I'm going to go right to the phones when we get back. Yeah. Yeah.
This guy, how I knew he wasn't like I mean, once he started talking and started to get
yeah.
weird, I caught it because he didn't say his name.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's just like, oh, hey, Ryan.
He went right into it, yeah.
So he knew you were going to get it right there.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when they have the fake, oh, I'm from Kentucky, and they try to have that. You're on to it.
Yeah. That's true, yeah. That's how they do. That is how they do. If you haven't liked it, there's over 1,000 people in the live stream right now. Please like the video, guys. You know, when you like the video, it helps spread this video and my channel to people that have not yet found me. So if you guys, there's over 1,000 in the live stream right now. Please like the video. Give it that thumbs up, and you'll help grow the channel.
All these people that keep saying, oh, why don't you ever have, someone from the Trump team on to contact you? They've been pretty quiet lately.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, wouldn't you be nervous if someone told you that that President Trump could be listening? You know, it'd make anyone nervous. Awesome, Dan. Cool. Oh, and guys, and don't forget, order your mighty Magga Lion. There's a link pinned at the top of the chat. There's a link in the video description, or you can just go to the website, mightymaggalion.com. These are available exclusively through me. This is the one I took to President Trump's star on the Walk of Fame in Hollywood, California, Saturday. That's right. These paws, think about it. These paws stood on Trump's star. Oh, yes. Pretty cool, huh? But this makes a great Christmas gift. And remember, if you order more than one, you get a discount. mightymaggalion.com. Once they're gone, they're gone. No one should have TikTok on their phone. TikTok is spyware. Where am I? What a monster. Complete monster in that news story. Here we go.
Like Simply Safe.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. I'll just go to the phones. Remember, open phones today. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. This is Rick. I'm in North Carolina.
Hey, Rick.
Just want to chime in on the coming GOP
debate. Yes.
Did a little research, and 5 years ago on December 6th, President Donald Trump declared Jerusalem to be Israel's capital.
Well, no, what he did was, it was already the capital because Israel said so. He moved the U.S. Embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, Israel's capital. That was 6 years ago today. Wow, time flies.
5 years ago, well, according to AP, I just read it. 5 years ago, Donald Trump declared Jerusalem to be Israel's capital, defying warnings from Palestinians and others around the world that he would be.
Well, the AP hates Jews, so they write things in an anti-Semitic tone. That's not 100% accurate. Jerusalem was always Israel's capital, but the United States didn't want to offend the Muslims, so they had the embassy in Tel Aviv. And then if you remember, the government of the United States tried to say, well, it would take 10 years to build a secure embassy in Jerusalem, and then Trump had one of his guys find a building and rent it out and make that the embassy. It was beautiful. Yeah, it was hilarious.
Lots of money, too. Yeah, that was cool. And one other thing, never mind.
No, what's the other? No, what's the other thing?
I can't think of it now.
Oh, yeah. You have one of the. You had a Biden moment. Okay, all right. Take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. Eddie from Florida.
Hey, Eddie.
I feel I owe you and the rest of the listeners an apology. I'm sorry.
No. He's not going to do it again. You're on. Oh, we interrupted a conversation. Who are you talking to? Good morning. Doug, you were talking. I picked up the phone. You were in mid-sentence. Who you got there with you?
Oh, I thought I was on. Sorry about that. Okay.
Oh, no. Okay. Does anyone believe you were talking to someone, you were in the middle of a word when I clicked you on?
No, sir.
All right.
Doug.
Oh, okay. All right.
First thing I want to say is maybe 100% I hope President Trump does not decide to do any debate with these jokers. Number two, I think the Secret Service goes around just in case he decides to do something. They have to go just to make sure it's safe. So I think
they haven't done it. They haven't done it in any of the other debates.
Well, then I'm doubting they were there. Maybe then they've made some fake news. But if they did, they're just checking out, or maybe they were never seen at the other places.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping he's not going to do it. The third thing I want to say, I sent you a list of the 8 Republicans who decide to go against Marjorie Taylor Greene, and
yeah,
it would be nice to have you put that on your website or something to get these names out there so people know who not to vote for.
Well, are any of them and I'm not going to do that. But listen, it's not. They're uniparty snakes.
Yeah, and everybody needs to know who these guys are, and for some reason, the media doesn't say anything, and. They'll get reelected because nobody's going to even remember that they are against Magga. And this is what we have, man. We got to get out and vote.
I mean, that's why I support George Santos. I mean, they want George Santos out. Let him finish his term. He said he's not running for re-election, and prosecuting for the campaign finance violations if they're true when he leaves office. But he's MAGA. It's not just that he's a Republican; he's a MAGA vote. He'll vote right. And we don't have enough MAGA voters in the House of Representatives. We're losing things every once in a while because we have traitors that are registered Republicans in the House, and we need George Santos's MAGA votes. You know, they say that he was using campaign funds for OnlyFans, and I'm curious, was he watching heterosexual or homosexual OnlyFans videos? I'm curious. No, I'm serious.
I would say it's because he's totally gay. I don't know if he is or not, but totally gay, he's probably some kind
Well, when you listen to the things that George Santos, they got this whole list of things that they say he misused campaign funds on. Fancy shoes, fancy clothes, Botox. They're all girly things, you know. And I'm curious if when he watches pornography, if he watches gay porn or heterosexual porn. You know, heterosexual porn has guys in it too, I guess. But I don't know. I'm curious. Someone should ask. I'd ask George Santos that question.
Well, I probably wouldn't want to ask.
But the thing is, I'm not approving of what he's done. If he's done the things they say, I don't approve of that. But what I'm telling you is, America, our culture is in the balance right now. And, you know, how many Republicans voted against the Mayorkas? Was it 6 or 8? What's the number? 8. So 8 Republicans voted against impeaching Mayorkas, right? You know, George Santos, I'm sure, voted the right way on that. He's a MAGA vote, and, you know, he's got a little more than a year left. We need him there to vote with MAGA. So we've got to stand with George Santos, and this campaign finance stuff, they can take care of that when he's out of office.
Or get somebody else in there.
It'll be a Democrat. They'll get it. Believe me, it'll be a Democrat. He's all right, Doug. Take care. Appreciate the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. How you doing? This is Maria from Florida.
Hey, Maria.
Hey, how you doing?
All right. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I just try to stay away from the other crazy stuff going on in the news.
Yeah.
I called to find out. I don't think that's accurate that President Donald J. Trump gonna do that debate with these crazy people because he doesn't need to.
Well, no. There's been a report in multiple credible sources that the Secret Service did a security check on the debate venue. He is the only Republican presidential candidate that has Secret Service protection, and the Secret Service have not done this screening at the other debate venues. So there's something being discussed, or the possibility of him being there, or they wouldn't go to the trouble.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's true. Because I haven't heard that. I know every other time that he been denied, saying that no, but when he have this rally, we should see. I don't know.
Yeah.
True. It could be true.
Yeah. It could be. No, I don't want him to debate them. I don't want him to debate those losers.
Exactly, because they're looking for some kind of clickbait to try to attack him, because everything that goes on in these debates is mostly like clips.
Yeah.
Not really watching it. They just going back the next day, looking at.
But there's a President Trump is very smart. It's very possible he's indicated he might go and had this done so that DeSantis and Nikki Haley and all of them will do all this preparing for him, and then he's not there and they have nothing for each other, and they'll bomb even more because they're not prepared for each other, and they'll just be talking about him the whole time because that's what they practiced in their debate rehearsals. There's that possibility too. Donald Trump, that's a bit of a psychological thing, but I can see President Trump doing that.
Yeah, that's true. And then another thing, all these, I was looking at this, like, all these insurrection that's going on in the FBI.
Mm.
I mean, it's really crazy. And I was looking at that, oh my God, that hearing the other day with Christopher Ware, and I was like, dude, you still sending these hearings saying that you don't have any information about that? Your people wasn't involved with?
Exactly. I know.
Lying.
I know. All right, Maria, good to hear from you. You're a good caller. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good morning. What?
Russ Rankin?
Yes, Russ.
Yeah, from Oklahoma. I was just thinking that maybe it could be Don Jr. or Eric that's coming to the debate.
They don't have Secret Service. If they have security, it's private. The adult children of former presidents don't have protection unless they need it, unless something comes up and they don't have it. It's not them. Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you.
All right, take care. Appreciate it. A little speculation going on. I know. It's a mystery. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. My name is Brian Craig. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines.
Great calls today.
Margaritaville at Sea's Black Friday sale is back, and it's bigger than ever. Sail to the Bahamas on a fun-soaked cruise starting at just $45 per person. And save up to 30% on all beverage packages, specialty dining, shore excursions, and more. And now, Margaritaville at Sea is giving you an extra day to get away with new 3-night weekend itineraries starting August 2024. Whether it's a quick holiday getaway or a 2024 summer friendcation, book your next Bahamas cruise today and get the best deal of the year. Visit margaritavillatsea.com before this incredible deal sails away.
Are you living your best life? Are you feeling the way you know you should be? This is John, CFO at Lighthouse Medical Center. Our hormone optimization therapy programs have helped so many people
Oh my goodness.
feeling the way they did in their 20s. They're full of energy after a long day, reduced their risk of heart disease, sexual freedom and excitement, great, sleeping the way they should without disturbances, and reducing their symptoms of aging. Our all-natural hormone optimization therapy is precise, easy, and effective from day one. Office visits are usually less than 5 times per year, and the cost is only $150 per month for most patients. Let you optimize and living your best life. Our family medical practice has been serving South Florida for over 71 years. Let us show you what personalized medical care and being treated like family feels like. Call us at 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642. Or visit us at lighthousemedicalcenter.com to schedule your consultation today.
The Medicare annual enrollment period is now through December 7th. Now is your chance to get a Florida Blue Medicare plan. Don't go at it alone. Trust the people at Compass Health, your local agency for Florida Blue, to assist in picking the perfect plan for you. Compass Health has HMOs, PPOs, Medicare supplement plans. Do you need dental work? Want $0 copays for medication or even transportation to the doctor? Compass Health can help. Call them toll free, 877-870-8391. That's 877-870-8391. You can also go online at compasshealthinsurance.com. Take advantage of the enrollment period now through December 7th and choose Compass Health.
Brian Craig here, telling you about our 5th annual listener cruise. And you're all invited, except Liberal. Liberal, you're not invited, but the rest of you are. We leave April 27th on board the Celebrity Beyond, the flagship of celebrity cruises. We're going to the ABC Islands, Curacao, Bonaire, and Aruba. We have shore excursions at every port, and I'll be on them all with you. We'll have dinner together every night, private cocktail parties, we'll go to Broadway shows together, and dance till the clubs close every night. Call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot and book your reservation at 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779.
Back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, Harrison Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
All right, and if you're already booked on our cruise, call in at Cruise and Travel Depot and get set up on our shore excursions. We have shore excursions in every port, 2 in 1 destination. These are shore excursions are limited to our group, and some of them will be filling up soon. And we planned so many shore excursions because last time we had shore excursions except in San Juan, and PJ said, "Oh, don't worry, I know where the fort is. Follow me." And we got lost in Old San Juan, and we must have walked. It seemed like we walked 10 miles on those old cobbled stone streets, and we got so lost in San Juan. But we did end up in a great bar where I had the best pina colada I've ever had in my life with a Puerto Rican bartender named Brian. But we didn't want to have that to happen to us this time, so we've doubled up, and these shore excursions are out of this world. If you've not already made a reservation, join us. This is our 5th annual cruise. April 27th, and they are a great, great time. This is our largest group we have ever had, all right? Call in at Cruise and Travel Depot, 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. And remember, for the shore excursions, call in. He'll help you get signed up for those. 561-244-5779. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good morning. You're on the air. Yes, you're on the air.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Brian. I just wanted to call and say I really appreciate your show.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Recently, I really don't like saying this.
Yeah, then don't say it. Yeah, I mean, my goodness. My goodness. What are these people? Didn't I tell you about the seminar callers? Didn't I tell you? PJ, he texted me. He said, yeah, but we did get to see a lot more San Juan. You know, I'll tell you, some people, when we got lost in San Juan, a couple people and I said, this is awesome. I said, this is and it was people in our group, and I said, this is awesome. We're going to remember this day forever. You know, I mean, when disasters happened, it was not pleasant until we found the bar. PJ, who was leading it, he's like, oh, I used to live here and I speak Spanish. Well, he lived there, yeah, like in 1960 or something, we come to find out. I don't know. Things have changed, even in a place that's as old as Old San Juan. But we're lost in Old San Juan. I'm having a great time. I don't care. We got our list. We're having a great time. And then a couple people were upset, and PJ says to his wife, come on, we're getting out of here. I said, PJ, you're not going anywhere. You got us into this. You're staying. Oh, man, we have a great time on our trips. You guys should join us. Yes, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Morning, Brian.
Yes, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Carlos, Latino.
Yes.
Trump.
All right.
I have a message for all the socialists and communists in the United States. Famous quote: socialism is the philosophy of failure, the creed of ignorance and envy, and its inherent virtue is the equal distribution of misery.
Yes. Who?
Winston Churchill.
Winston Churchill. Well, he knew, Winston Churchill was the one that coined the phrase "the Iron Curtain," so he knew all about the commies.
So think about that.
Yeah, it's true.
You are a socialist and a communist in this country, and that's what you want? Go and live in Venezuela, where I came from in 1976.
Oh, my goodness.
19.
You know...
Or no, better yet, go to Iran.
Oh, yeah.
Or to Nicaragua.
Yeah.
Cuba. Go and leave this country. You morons.
Yeah. Bye. All right. All the liberal paradises. You're on the air. He just had to get that off. It's open phones on Fridays. Open Magga Mike Friday. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, hi. My name is Kevin Alexander. I'm calling from Vacaville, California.
Yeah.
To say that recently I found out my daughter.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, how many times are you going to try? Oh my goodness. See didn't I tell you guys about the seminar callers? Oh my goodness. That is a sign of success. All our calls are screenless on the program. And I know I talk about this sometimes, but people that are new to the program, they don't realize this. We take the calls screenless. When people call in, I just put them on hold. We don't have a call screener. We have someone here who could do that. We don't do it. And really, the reason it started out this way, I'll tell you guys. Well, you guys went behind this. It's fine. Well, it started out first because when I first was doing a talk show on the radio, I was on overnights from 3 to 7 in the morning. Saturday mornings from 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. And we didn't have a board op to do it, so I had to answer my own phones and while I was on the air, and I got to doing it. And then later on, we had a board op, who was our board op, by the way, in Boca before we came here, okay, Rich. And he would not put callers through. This was a big problem. He actually used to be Steve's board op before I knew Steve, like in 1990. And he wouldn't put calls through. And there would be hosts on the air who would never, they'd have no calls because he wouldn't put them through. Because he was very passive aggressive. And we had our own studio in Coral Springs for many years, and it was going through renovations. We went up to Boca, and we had like 2 or 3 days where the phones were like really slow. And I told Steve, I said, Rich isn't putting the callers through. He's like, he wouldn't do that. There's no way he'd do that. I said, Steve, he's not putting the calls through. He's hanging up on the. Steve came in early, and he didn't know Steve was there, and Steve heard him do it. He's like, I can't believe it, Brian. You're right. So but that's kind of how the screenless thing began. But we kept it because it makes the show more interesting. Okay, and the reason it makes it more interesting is because if you see the name of the person on the phone, on the line, when they're on hold, you can tell a lot about them. When they go on the air cold, we don't know who they are until they say hello. I don't know what they're going to say, where they're coming from, and I got to think fast on my feet. I think it makes it more interesting. It gives a bit of unpredictability to it. Another thing is too, when you have a call screener, somebody calls in, they get off their chest what they want to say to the person that answers the phone, and then when they get on the air, they're repeating themselves, and people don't like to. It's never good the second time. But the downside to that is, on occasion, you get a lot of people make it to the air who would never make it through a screening process, which I am fine with that. Okay, I like having the callers that would not make it anywhere else. Yeah, Al Knight, our weekend guy here, True Oldies, he said Rich would do his own talk show in the control room. That is true. Okay, and now I know Mike doesn't do this, our board op, but the history of radio shows is board ops, except Mike, sabotage radio shows. And I used to be a board op, but I was also always on the air. So I never did that because I related to the talent on the air. But board ops at radio stations from coast to coast sabotage hosts all day, all the time. And it's I don't mind because it's not happening to me, but nobody knows this. I don't think most people on the air know they're being sabotaged by their call screeners. And like Rush, if you remember, Rush had like 4 people, and he had a board op, he had a call screener, and he had Snurdly. You know why he did that? So he didn't get sabotaged by the board op. Okay, that's why he had 3 people there. It's harder to sabotage. Mike would never do that. I'm not talking about you, Mike. I'm talking about all the other board ops. Okay, but it's true. It's true. But I like the screenless calls. I think it makes the show more interesting and, as I said, less predictable because maybe someone will catch me or Steve one day. All right, we'll take our bottom of the hour break and be right back.
Making morning radio great again.
I think you're gonna really love it.
It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
We got
Barry? See? Okay. Yeah, now I'll hear from Rich if he's
From the Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created, here's the oldies forecast.
Good morning, South Florida. First morning meteorologist Vanessa Nunez from WPBF. 25 news. A little cloudy to start your morning, but we'll see more sunshine as we head into the afternoon hours. Temperatures will be in the upper 70s and the lower 80s today, and the winds will be much calmer compared to yesterday, only up to 10 to even 15 miles per hour. Tomorrow we'll see less rain coverage and even on the weekend.
Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Seminole Plaza
Yeah, I know we had talks about the old board ops and stuff like that too. So
Who?
I said no. You talked before
Oh.
about all the different.
Oh yeah. It's true. They all do it.
It's like, how do you not value your job? Like, you want to
They all do it.
Especially if you get caught.
Yeah.
This morning on 95 on the Turnpike remain crash free. Buildups are forming on 95 heading northbound between Deerfield Beach and Boca Raton. In Boca Raton, we have fallen power cables at the corner of Blades Road and Northwest 13th Street. Be sure to use caution there. A commercial structure fire in West Palm along Haverhill Road at Wallace Road. A crash lingers in West Palm along Military Trail at Okeechobee Boulevard. Residents south in Broward County, 95 south on After Atlantic Boulevard. 2 right lanes are blocked by a crash. Stop and goes going back to Copings. This report is sponsored by Discover. Did you know Discover wants everyone to feel special? That's why with your Discover card, you have access to 24/7 customer service as well as $0 fraud liability, which means you're never held responsible for unauthorized purchases. Learn more at discover.com/credit card. Limitations apply. Let's drop off Chris Barr.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Come out to the newly renovated poker room at PBKC, open daily for cash games, high-hand giveaways, mega bad beat jackpots, and big money tournaments like the Bar Poker Florida World Championships this week with big guaranteed events.
William, thanks so much. You need to leave our precious high heels man alone. DeSantis climbs on the shoulders of Chad. DeSantis towers over everyone, so be quiet. That's funny, William. That's hilarious.
Lie about your daughter, you know.
He doesn't have a daughter.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, making a story like for people who actually are in that situation. Like,
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that was a kid. He was young. He was young. That guy.
I was not gonna say because I know he has to be.
Yeah, he was young.
Gosh. Yeah, he actually said a name. He actually said the name this time.
Yeah.
Where your money wasn't all at risk. I have guaranteed options to keep your money safe without losing a penny in the market. Your money grows when the market goes up, and most importantly, you never lose a penny when the market drops. Doesn't that sound like a better retirement strategy? Get a free copy of my book by going to jupiterjoe.com or calling 561-743-0999. Get a copy of my free book, Retirement Know-It-All, by going to jupiterjoe.com today.
Are you exhausted after work with no energy left in the tank to give your family? Are you having a midday crash on a daily basis? Women, are menopause symptoms like hot flashes, anxiety, and depression making your daily life?
Oh, goodness gracious.
Men, do you feel like you're aging far beyond what you should? Is your sexual life and relationships suffering?
I'm glad it's the weekend, but I'll be busy, guys. Look out for my weekend live streams. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a stream from the studio and take calls tomorrow, or take the Magga scooter to the beach and do a live stream from the ocean. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. What would you guys like? Go to the beach and watch the beautiful ocean, or do a live stream from my studio and take calls?
222-6642 or visit us at lighthousemedicalcenter.com to schedule your consultations.
The ocean, yeah. Ocean, studio, okay. Beach. Weather permitting, yes. Freedom Soup says studio. Kind of split. Well, maybe I could take Kathy, my wife's cell phone, and forward the call-in number to her phone and put the callers on speakerphone while I'm live streaming on the ocean. What if I did that? I don't know if Kathy would want me to take her cell phone, though. Not early in the morning. All right, we are back. It is Friday. Open phones on Friday. Open Magga Mike Friday at 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631. And I was just reading this article about Biden's summit with the Chinese. And by the way, James Woods, the actor James Woods, tweeted a video of Biden walking into, I'm not sure what building it was, with the Chinese president, whose name I can never remember how to pronounce, Chi, whatever. It was a disgusting sight, and I'll tell you why. How many of you in this audience are veterans of the war in Vietnam or Korea? I don't know how many Korean veterans are left. I mean, the Vietnam veterans, I can't believe how old the Vietnam veterans are now. Oh, my goodness. But what were you fighting against in Vietnam? I know we've got to have some Korea guys left, but in the audience. But what were you fighting against? You're fighting against communists, right? Communist. You know, when Biden walked into this building, there was a U.S. Army sergeant holding up the communist Chinese flag. I've never seen a U.S. soldier holding the flag of another nation before. Have you? I've never seen that before. That was a new one to me. If it was like a Union Jack or something like that, where we're allied, maybe, but the Chinese flag was very strange. Maybe that doesn't seem like a big important thing to you guys, but it was disturbing when you look at everything that's going on. But I'm reading this article about this summit. Biden strikes agreement with China to shut down fossil fuels. Why? What's that about? U.S. energy experts are warning of the economic and national security implications of Biden's pact with China this week. The pact moves the United States towards shutting down fossil fuel production in favor of green energy. The State Department announced this week it had struck a deal with its Chinese counterparts, pledging to accelerate the substitution for coal, oil, and gas generation with green energy sources like wind and solar power. China and the United States account for nearly half of the global greenhouse gas emissions, and also agreed to deepen policy exchanges on reducing carbon emissions in various sectors like power, industry, buildings, and transportation across their economies. The agreement, which the nations further pledged to sufficiently accelerate renewable energy deployment in their respective economies through 2030, was criticized over its potential impact on U.S. consumers. The agreement speaks heavily about advancing, doubling down, and tripling down on renewables, wind, and solar. The majority of them are made in China, says the founder and executive director of Power the Future. Here's the thing about that. First of all, that's stupid. Stupid. All right? And we talk about this a lot, but it's important because they just did this. We have more oil and natural gas than any other nation in the world. If we were a member of OPEC and we were drilling properly, we'd be the largest producer. When Donald Trump was president, the United States was the largest producer of oil in the world. That's why gas was under $2 a gallon. All right? That's right. And gas is expensive for all kinds of reasons, and the Democrats have been trying to wean us off of it for years, and we know why. We see it here. It's because China does not have oil. I don't know where they stand on natural gas so far as their supply, but they don't have oil. Oil is one of the things that makes us strong. Like, if it wasn't for oil, who would care what the Middle East thinks about anything? Right? The only reason people care about Saudi Arabia and all these other countries is because they got oil, and that's what makes the world go round. And the reality of the situation is, when Biden does this, what's he doing? He's selling out this country. China wants us on alternative energies because they don't have oil. It weakens us. It weakens our economy. You know, probably the number one, there's two factors to inflation in this country. Two factors. One is out of control government spending, funding this fake war in Ukraine, et cetera, et cetera. Too much government spending drives up inflation. And the other is the price of oil. So all these problems we're having in this country economically are a direct result of Biden's policies. The number two one being the reduction in the production of oil. And what he's doing here is treasonous. You know, he did something last year. I talked about it. Nobody else did. You know, remember when he emptied out the U.S. national oil reserves? He emptied it out. I want you to think about what he did here. Okay, this guy is a crook like nobody's business, and as old and feeble as he appears to be, we're lucky, because if he was at his full strength, we'd be done. Okay, so let me tell you what he did. I want you to think about this now. When he emptied out the U.S. oil reserve, he sold the oil. You know who he sold it to? A company in China. But it's worse than just that. You know that fake hedge fund thing that him and Hunter have going on? Remember that thing? Biden emptied out the national oil reserve, sold the oil to a company in China that is owned in part by that hedge fund that Hunter's like an executive on. He emptied out the oil reserve and sold it to himself. And since it was none of his money, that's 100% profit. Think about that. And I tell you guys, the oil companies in this country are not conservative. They support the liberals. You know, on one of our cruises, a very nice couple came, and they're oil well owners. They're very wealthy, and they own oil wells. They're in the oil business. And we were talking, and he was telling me, I went through, because I was curious what the profit is on a barrel of oil, and he was telling me, I don't remember what gas was at this particular time. Trump was president, so gas was low, oil was low. He was telling me that the profit on a barrel of oil at that time was like $6. What do you think it is now? Like $50 or something, right? That's a big difference. $6. Can't make a living doing that. The oil. So what did he do? Biden drove up energy prices. He sold the oil to a company that he owns in China. Think about that. That's crazy. He should be impeached and jailed just for that. He emptied out the strategic oil reserves and sold the oil to his own company, Biden. Then he buys it back at these Biden-inflated gasoline and oil prices from his friends in the oil industry. So he makes money on that side too. He's making money on both sides of it. How many crooks are making money on both ends, like Joe Biden? The level of sophistication with the organized criminal organization that Biden has going on is just insane. You know, I was talking to Steve yesterday afternoon about Biden. You know, Biden is behind in the polls against Trump by double digits in some of the new polls that are out today. We were talking about this last night. And, you know, Biden, how do you think about this now? Biden has lost a lot of Democrats, mainly because of inflation. All Biden has to do to win back a lot of those Democrats, I'll say this, it's not going to change anything Biden's doing, right? Biden only listens to people that pay him, and I'm not paying him. But if Biden would bring down inflation, which he could do by a massive increase in oil production in this country, which he could do by flipping a switch, inflation would drop instantly. And a huge and when prices fell to more affordable levels, a lot of these Democrats that have jumped ship would be on board with us. And Steve said, well, yeah, but to do that, he'd have to adopt Trump policies. And I said, yeah, but you know but he won't do that. And if you look at everything he does, even with this article, it's about helping others. You would be hard pressed. In fact, I think it's impossible for you to find one thing that Joe Biden has done for an American. Can you find one thing he's done for an American? Everything he's doing, everywhere he goes, is for someone else from someplace else. And I can't think of one policy that he's even proposed to help one American. We're not even on his radar screen. All right, now listen, we're going to take our last break of the second hour. Call us on hold, stand by. My name is Brian. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. And remember, it is open phones today. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. We'll be right back. All right, and it's time to check in with Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Attorney Barry Siegel, good morning.
Good morning. How are you today, Brian?
I'm doing well. What do you have for us today?
Well, we are filling up the final seats for next week's workshop, the Living Trust Workshop that's going to be on Tuesday, November 21st at 2 p.m. in our Boca Raton office. So if you're interested and you or you and your spouse want to attend, please make sure to call our office. You know, estate planning is it's one of those things. It's not like, hey guys, let's all go to the beach or to Disney or whatever it is that you enjoy doing. It's something that people, they do it because it's something they need to do. It's like earlier this week, you were nice enough to move my call earlier because I had a dental appointment early in the morning. And it was not one of those things that, I got excited about going. None of us, at least most of us don't enjoy going to the dentist, but it's something we know we have to do, especially when it's one of those things, besides the cleaning, when you really have to go in and get something done and they have to numb you up and do all those things that we don't enjoy. I'm not saying estate planning is that bad. Hopefully the experience is not that like that, but sometimes people just put it off because there are issues going on, maybe some family issues you don't want to deal with, or dealing with some people haven't had great experiences dealing with attorneys or dealing with issues that deal with their potential disabilities or end-of-life issues. So it's one of those things that people tend to put off. A very small number of people in the population do the planning that they need to do, whether it's estate planning, life insurance, long-term care planning, whatever it might be. But it's one of those necessary things that people need to do when you have family, when you have people you care about, when you don't want to leave a mess behind, when you want to make sure you're cared for if you're disabled, you have the right people in the right seats taking care of things and making decisions. So that's why it's important. And so coming to a living trust workshop, an estate planning workshop, is a way to take a glance, number one, at our firm to see if it's a good fit for you, and number two, to get the education and to learn some things that may be very important and make a huge difference in planning for yourself and your loved ones.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, when it comes to planning for things like this, they don't want it involves the thought of death and things like this. And a lot of people don't want to deal with that. But I promise you, you go to Attorney Barry Siegel's workshop next week. You're going to get a lot of good information, and you get a chance to meet Attorney Barry Siegel and his entire staff at the Siegel Law Group. Now, if you'd like to attend the workshop, call and reserve your spot. It's completely free. They'll give you directions. But if you can't make it to the workshop and you just want to set up an appointment, remember, it's a no-charge consultation with the Siegel Law Group if you mention you heard Attorney Barry Siegel on the radio. And no matter where you are in the state of Florida, Attorney Barry Siegel can help you. All right, you can find him online at SiegelLawGroup.com, SiegelLawGroup.com, or toll-free 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel, we'll talk next week.
All right, Brian. Have a great weekend.
All right, back after this.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. Larry. How are you?
All right, Larry, what's up?
Hey, you just mentioned that Donald Trump's up in the polls by double digits over our president.
Yeah.
I haven't heard those polls yet.
Well, it's in Ohio. This is in the Gateway Pundit. Donald Trump has a commanding double-digit lead over Joe Biden in Ohio, according to a new poll. It says here, double-digit lead over Joe Biden in a head-to-head race in Ohio, which grows even further when they put in Robert Kennedy Jr., the poll shows that 50% of registered voters in Ohio back Trump in a two-way race with Biden. Biden holds 32%. So Trump's at 50 and Biden is at 32 in Ohio with registered voters. That's pretty significant. Because Ohio is one of those states we've got to win.
Oh, absolutely. Like, the other thing I saw was that judge in New York, his gag order was overruled by an appeals court.
That's correct. We talked about that earlier. Yeah, that lunatic. That trial's probably going to end in a mistrial. And thanks to the investigative work of Laura Loomer, who uncovered the social media postings of the judge's wife, who was commenting on the case and the witnesses in very negative ways during the trial. You know, here's another poll in Breitbart. Now, this one's really crazy. Listen to this one. This is in Florida. Donald Trump leads Biden in Florida among non-binary voters. No, I'm serious. This is non-binary are the people that have no gender, right? That's crazy. He has a 10. It's a new poll. It's done by Florida Atlantic University, my alma mater, and they I'm serious. President Trump has a 10-point lead over Biden in Florida with non-binary people. That means he's got a huge gay vote.
Yeah, I can guarantee you they did not poll me on that one.
Well, you're not non-binary, are you? All right. Take care. No, I'm serious. It's funny, but it's true. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Yes.
Oh, hi. This is Joan in Tampa Bay.
Oh, hey, Joan in Tampa Bay. What's up?
I just got my pillow, my slippers.
Awesome.
They're made so well, and they're like walking on pillows.
Aren't they? Yeah. They're good for all day wear, but I put mine on when I go home, and when I put my feet in my MyPillow, my slippers, I feel the stress in my body just disappear.
They are so well made. But anyway, besides that, how do you feel about early insurrections that's been happening in Washington, D.C. in the last 2 weeks?
Say that again? I didn't hear you.
How do you feel what they're doing about the insurrections that have been happening in Washington, D.C.?
Oh, you're talking about the Palestinian attacks on the White House and the Capitol and all that?
On, I think they did it on the Democratic headquarters or something.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I think the way that they're handling it is perfect because it illustrates how what a double standard they have. You know, if you're a Palestinian terrorist supporter, you can attack our government, and if you're a Magga person and you have a peaceful protest, you get put in prison. You know, these people were violent. Some of them. Look what they were climbing the fences at the White House. You know, people have been shot dead for climbing the fences at the White House. You know, over the years, it's happened more than once.
Yeah.
Say that again.
I lived in D.C. in the 70s.
Yeah. No, people have been shot for climbing the fences at the White House. The Palestinians did it. Secret Service didn't even intervene.
No, they stood there like a bunch of dopes.
Yeah. Well, you know, the reason that is Obama, I was talking about this earlier in the week. Obama, when he was president 8 years, that's a long time, he did a massive hiring of people that are the permanent Washington bureaucracy. And he did the largest hiring of Muslims in the history of this country. So our government, at the bureaucracy level, you know, like the people that work at the post office and stuff, you know, it is overloaded with Muslims and Muslim sympathizers at many levels, just like our universities apparently are. And they don't view the world in the way that we view it. You know, not James Woods, it was Bill Maher said a couple weeks ago that the liberals of today, the modern Democrats, which he keeps distancing himself from, Bill Maher, says there are two different kinds of people in America, the oppressed and the oppressors. And the Palestinians are the oppressed, and we're the oppressors, of course. We're always the oppressors. That's the way it is. That's why you see all this going on.
You know what also, makes me upset? All these people, about killing in Palestine. Those are the people that believe in aborting children.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and, they found, yesterday it was reported they found 2 murdered female Israeli hostages. One of them was a female IDF soldier. The other one was, I believe, a woman in her 60s. Barely in the news. And what do you think they did to those women? The whole time they had them. Raped them without mercy, I'm sure. And where's all the Me Too people? They were after Harvey Weinstein like he was the biggest threat to women. We've got a horde of rapists. There was one woman at that music festival. They did a group rape of her, and the final rapist shot her while he was raping her in the head. I mean, where's the Me Too people?
Definitely, but why do they care about killing people when they kill babies?
Well, they don't view babies as people. They're non-humans. They're fetuses, non-human. They consider them non-humans. Hey, listen, appreciate the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh.
Yes, you're on the air.
Oh, okay, hi. Yes, I was just wondering, Brian, what the hell happened to this world?
Liberals are in control of it right now.
It's astonishing that what is happening.
See, we have listen, I've been telling you guys this for a year. Over the weekend, get Miranda Devine's book, get the audio book, Laptop from Hell. Okay? Joe Biden, this is what's going on. We have Joe Biden ran for president. See, Joe Biden's been a con man stealing money from the government since the 70s, since Nixon. His plan was to have Beau Biden become the senator from Delaware and take over the family business of political payoffs. Sadly, Beau died. His other 2 kids are junkies. So he came out of retirement, Joe Biden, to set his junkie family up and his mob wife and his loser corrupt brother and sister up financially for the rest of their lives. So all Joe Biden is doing is working crooked deals and getting paid off. Everything he's doing is for blackmail.
Yeah, it's insane. How much can you take? You know what I mean?
Well, now we got no choice. All right, take care. Thanks so much. Now, listen, if you're looking for something to do over the weekend, oh, man, the Dower Museum of Classic Cars. These cars, I keep telling you, you may have been to a car show before. So, I've seen a thing like at the fairgrounds, or sometimes some restaurants will have them. You've never seen anything like you've seen at the Dower Museum of Classic Cars. The way I describe them is showroom new. And I'm talking about these cars are fully restored inside and out. Okay? And some of the cars, they have photographs showing you the entire restoration process. It is like if the Smithsonian Institution put together a car museum in Sunrise, it would be the Dower Museum of Classic Cars. There's showroom new, inside and out. I got inside a couple of those cars. Don't tell anybody. But I did. Okay? And these cars, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, they are like right out of the showroom. There was one car that it wasn't the most, because I like the Cadillacs, I like the old Chevys and everything else. But I was looking at a station wagon that somebody on my street had when I was a kid. And I didn't think too much of it then. But when I saw this station, it took me right back to the 70s. And that's what happens when you look at these cars. It'll take you back in time to another time. They have this one car that it looks like it's out of a Norman Rockwell painting. It's this classic car from the 1940s that has, it's a 4-door, and it's to take fishing. Like you're going to trout fishing. They used to trout fish, I guess, in the 40s and 50s. And the back of the car actually turns into a tent. Have you ever seen? I've seen these in old magazines and such. It's unbelievable, the cars there. Showroom new. The Cadillacs are my favorite, but they also have military vehicles, incredible trucks. vans. They have an ambulance from 1971, fully restored, and that's the year I was born. And that's one of the cars I got into. And I got inside that ambulance from 1971, and I was back in time. I was like Marty McFly. I don't know what it is about as you grow older, things like that. They bring you back to another time, bring back a lot of memories. You start getting smells and things that you remember. You'll have the same experience I had. They're open till 3 today and tomorrow. They're open Monday through Saturday till 3. It's also a great place to have your Christmas parties. Okay, they're located in Sunrise on Hiatus Road, just south of Commercial. If you want to call about holiday parties, 954-748-6271. You have your New Year's, your Christmas party here at the Darrow Museum of Classic Cars. It'll be an event that is remembered forever for the rest of the lives of everyone who goes. 954-748-6271 or online, dowercars.com. That's D-A-U-E-R, dowercars.com. When you stop in, make sure you tell them you heard about them on True Oldies. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. We'll take our break for the top and be back right after this.
WWNN Pompano Beach, WIRK HD3 Indiantown. Programming paid for by Vic Canales Media Group. Broadcasting from the Rome Studio. Injured recently? Call the Rome's Law Group, where winning is a habit. 561-570-5700. 561-570-5700. Rome's winning for you and our community. Your home for the Steve Kane Show. From the Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created, here's the oldies forecast.
Good morning, South Florida. First warning meteorologist Vanessa Burnett from WPBF. 25 years old.
Oh, my goodness.
You need the advice of a retirement expert who can help you protect your money, guarantee your income, and stop losing money. Joe Thomas is president of Retirement Network Advisors. South Florida's premier retirement experts and has been for 20 years. He's seen it all and is a true professional that you can trust. Your family will help with. His daughter Ginny works with him. You know Joe and Ginny right here on True Oldies. He's the host of the Jupiter Joe Money Show. He's been doing that for over a decade. You need Jupiter Joe's book, The Retirement Know-It-All. Mention my name, Brian Craig, and receive a free copy of his ebook. Go to JupiterJoe.com or call 561-743-0999. That's 561-743-0999. Take advantage of his free phone consultation too. Go to JupiterJoe.com or call 561-743-0999.
Here's your True Oldies ABC News Update.
ABC News Now, I'm Tom Rivers. With Israel prosecuting its war against Hamas, dozens of Jewish TikTok creators and celebrities signed on to a letter urging that company to address anti-Semitism and harassment.
Montana Tucker, an activist and influencer, says comments on her TikTok account have been filled with anti-Semitic comments since the start of the war.
We need to find a way to be able to get accurate information out there, to have messages at the bottom of these videos saying this is not a confirmed source.
Meanwhile, the company called a meeting with those influencers and says it's being proactive in addressing the concerns.
ABC's Andrea Muji in California for the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit. President Biden signed the bill to keep the government running into January. Texas gave a lethal injection to David Renteria, condemned for abducting a 5-year-old girl out Christmas shopping with her family at a Walmart in El Paso in 2001 and strangling her to death. This is ABC News.
This could be the start of a break-in. Or the end of one. Introducing 24/7 lifeguard protection, only for Simply Safe. Now, monitoring agents can see and speak to intruders through our new indoor camera. Help stop crime in real time and for fast police response. Up 20% off any new system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplysafe.com/radio. Advanced home security, 24/7 professional monitoring. Less than $1 a day. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, the third and final hour of the program has begun. I'm Brian. Steve joining us. Hey, Steve. I'm doing good. Lots of good things happening.
Okay, all right.
But let's take some calls before I get into some of them, though, if you don't mind. Or
I'm having some technical difficulties here, so let's just go.
what are the technical problems? You can hear. You sound fine. You sound fine. All right. All right, and you can hear me fine.
Yes.
Okay, all right. 1-888-GO-CANE-1 is our number. It's a toll-free call. Remember, Friday is open phones, meaning any and everything on your mind is fair game. You're not limited to the topics that we bring up. We call it Open Magga Mike Friday, all right? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jeff from Maine.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, listen, hey, Steve, you know, we keep saying, and Trump's been saying this every election, the next one is
Yeah.
I believe in 2024 is the turning point of turning us back to being a constitutional republic, a conservative thinking country, or we're going to be swinging so far.
Well, it's listen, couple things, okay? Yeah, as I was talking about earlier, they had a U.S. Army soldier holding the communist Chinese flag yesterday when Biden walked by. I've never seen anything like that. Have you ever seen a U.S. Army sergeant holding a foreign flag before? Have you seen that, Steve?
No.
No. Well, yesterday their Chinese flag. Well, what do you think, Jeff? You're a Marine. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I was quite pissed off. If anything, I don't know who he was, but his officer in charge of him, someone should be having that man written up.
Well, you think that? Listen. That's the White House had them do that.
I think we only have one flag, one anthem, one country, and many different beliefs. But if you don't stand for that flag, our flag, you are in the wrong country. And there is no reason for our military to ever do that.
I've never seen it before, and I didn't catch it. It's when Biden's walking into a building with the Chinese president, and I didn't pick this up. The great American actor and Magga man James Woods, one of my favorite actors, James Woods picked this up, and he was livid over it. He posted it on Twitter, James Woods. I've never seen anything like it. It looked like something out of a movie. You know what it looked like? It was like Red Dawn, and we lost.
You know, hey, Steve, there's a lot of veterans, and I know you are, brother, in this chat room, and I guarantee you, if they had seen that, they'd have been standing up screaming.
Yeah.
It's one of the worst things that could happen. For one of our military in uniform to do that is completely
It's a humiliation. See, this is the thing, okay? This whole trip with the Chinese president, I don't know if is it Xi or G or whatever. He's the dictator from China, okay? The whole thing, the reason they cleaned up the city, the reason they have a U.S. Army sergeant holding the Chinese communist flag, and I don't know, but I know my dad has a bullet in his leg that a Chinese soldier put in there in Vietnam, but the reason they did all this is Biden's not the leader. The Chinese dictator's the leader. It was to honor their leader, the Chinese dictator, who has bought off all the American Democrat politicians, and some of the Republicans too, like McConnell. But they're honoring their leader, and it's disgusting, and it's a humiliation. America has fallen. We are a client state of, as Trump would say, China.
No, and I believe to this day the way we're going to change America back to what it was founded on is first at your kitchen table talks with your family and friends and neighbors, and at the coffee houses and restaurants, and everybody stand.
Well, yeah.
And the problem is, Brian, they think they speak for us in spite of what we say, and we need to elect leaders that are of and by and for the...
Well, here's the thing, Jeff, okay? The reason that people say this is the most important election every time, because it is, no matter when it is, it's the one you're dealing with. But this one is extra important because the deciding factor in this election is whether America will be a free nation or will we be slaves of not just China, but of the American deep state and bureaucracy? And that's the reality. Are we going to be free or are we going to be slaves? That's what this election decides. It's more than about being a constitutional republic.
Yep. Well, who was that? Was it Henry that said, "Give me liberty or give me death"? Because that's where I stand on that. I won't live as a slave.
Well, I'm not Patrick Henry, and hopefully you're not either. But you know, the thing about the thing about it is this: this entire trip in San Francisco, Steve, is one of the biggest You know, there's a book by an author named Philip K. Dick, and it's called Man in the High Castle, that they made into a television show about how the U.S. lost the Second World War. Yeah, he's a science fiction writer, but he wrote a book on alternative history about the United States losing the Second World War, and it takes place mainly in California, where the Japanese have taken over California. And Man in the High Castle was made into a television series on Amazon Prime, which I've seen too. But I read the book years ago when I was in school. But regardless of that, a lot of it takes place. It takes place in San Francisco, and the Japanese are running San Francisco. That's what it looks like in San Francisco today, except with the Japanese flag, it's the Chinese flag. It's like we're living in an alternate history where America has been conquered by a foreign land. And, like, for example, they say he's a dictator, right? Even Biden said it the other day. So he asked the Chinese dictator about the fentanyl production, and he says, "I'll see what I can do to slow down fentanyl production." He's a dictator of a military police state. If he said no more fentanyl will be made or shipped out of China, it would happen that day. You know, I mean, this whole thing is a joke, Steve. It's a joke. It's a joke. Biden is there to get paid. He's by the Chinese. That's what the whole thing's about. Make no mistake about it. If you're on hold, hang in there. We're going to take our break. When we get back, we'll get right to the phones. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. Back after this.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-CANE-1.
Brian Craig here. I've suffered with massive pain in my knee for years.
I think I watched like 2 seasons of it, but
Oh, it's good. Yeah, it's good.
I think it stopped at. I do remember the nuke scene in Washington.
Yeah.
Watching that part, and then I can't remember the full. I think when I can't remember.
Yeah.
It's been a while,
but it's good. No, it's good.
Because World War II is one of my favorite things in history.
Yeah.
So when someone told me about that show, book and show, I was like, you know what? I gotta watch it.
Yeah. Oh, it is good. It is good.
No surgery, no drugs. It's open 6 days a week, and same-day appointments are available. Call right now for your free consultation. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. Make sure to tell Dr. Appleton you heard about him on the radio.
Have you put off buying new tires because you thought they were too expensive? Find friendly prices at Friendly Tire and Margate on both new and used tires. New tires as low as $70 a tire. That's out the door and on the road because Friendly Tire doesn't charge you to balance the tire or mount the tire. They have thousands of used tires in stock too, starting at just $30. Call for a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445.
I turned it down, Gloria. That's why. I turned the volume down. Let's see.
When it comes to dental work, there's no one better than Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. Don't just take my word for it. This is Richie the bus driver. He called in on the air to share his experience with Dr. Gupta. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Richie, Dr. Gupta. I go 139 miles to this guy. I had a broken tooth. He fixed it. It was supposed to be temporary. It lasted 2 years. He put dentures in my mouth that are a lot cheaper than anybody else. And he's excellent and no pain. I recommend this guy. To me, he's the best ever. So I want to get that out of the way.
Listen to Richie the bus driver. Go see Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633. Brian Craig here, telling you about our 5th annual listener cruise. And you're all invited, except Liberal Al. Liberal Al, you're not invited. But the rest of you are. We leave April 27th on board the Celebrity Beyond, the flagship of celebrity cruises. We're going to the ABC Islands, Curacao, Bonaire, and Aruba. We have shore excursions at every port, and I'll be on them all with you. We'll have dinner together every night, private cocktail parties, we'll go to Broadway shows together, and dance till the clubs close every night. Call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot and book your reservation. 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779.
All right.
FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at True Only.
All right, callers on hold, stand by. It's a Steve Kane Show. Steve's here. I'm Brian. You know, yesterday I went to Publix. You're a Winn-Dixie guy, Steve. I guess you don't have a Publix in your neighborhood. You got the last Winn-Dixie? But I was at, pretty much, I was at Publix yesterday, and you know how it is at Publix. They got the old men baggers, you know? And I remember when I was a kid, when I was younger, like when I was in middle school, and a lot of those old men baggers were Holocaust survivors. They had the numbers on their arms. I remember that. You'd go to Publix, you'd have your groceries bagged by a Holocaust survivor. But sadly, those guys are all gone. But these old men baggers, and you know, they're very talkative guys, and you get the whole background, and most every one of them will tell you how they just do this for fun, and they're rich, and they retired and they sold their business and everything else, and they just work at Publix in the rain, in the 110 heat index temperatures. They do all that for fun to keep busy. Well, that's not true. Most of them are working there because they got to work there. When you retire, and I'm getting to that age where a lot of guys retire because your friends get older as you grow older, and most of the people that I know that retire, they know how much they need a month to live, and they plan for that. Well, that's okay. That works good for today. But what about 5 years go by, and we have somebody like Joe Biden as president, and we have the highest inflation rate in 40 years? How'd your plan work out then, right? And not so good. And a lot of people that retire, they don't factor in things that they like to do, like go play golf. Their wife likes to get her hair done and things like that. And of course, I'm talking about Joe Thomas. And he has a way to protect your money and stop you from losing money on your investments, which is I like that. That sounds good already. And guarantee you income. So you have that extra money coming in, so you don't have to work, or you can go golf whenever you want. You don't have to wait for the cheap time on the greens in the middle of the day when it's 200 degrees out. You can go golf in the morning, okay? And your wife can get her hair done, and you don't have to worry about it. Give him a call. And Joe Thomas, he has two offers. Of course, he's offering free copies of his book, The Retirement Know-It-All, but he's also offering free consultations. And no matter where you're located, you can take advantage of Joe Thomas's free phone consultation. A free phone consultation with a financial advisor. And that financial advisor is Joe Thomas. That's a great offer, and it's free. Now, I'm going to give you his number. If you miss this number, go to his website, jupiterjoe.com. The number's there, okay? 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. Or go to jupiterjoe.com if you missed the number. All right, you want to take some more calls, Steve? What do you want to do?
Do it.
All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. Good morning, Steve. It's Joe from Palm City.
Hey, Joe.
Good morning. I just want to make a comment. Your previous caller, Jeff from Maine, would know a lot better than I would because he served in the military. However, I served in law enforcement for 30 years, which was considered like a quasi-military institution. And at no time do you ever have to follow a bad order. So when they said to that sergeant to hold the Chinese flag, I think I would have refused. And as a result, maybe I'd be court-martialed, but I'd rather roll the dice at a court-martial and have my honor intact.
Well, that's easy to say. Yeah, I mean, you're first off, okay. This is not the era of the service that my dad was in, or your dad was in, or your grandpa. My dad told me when he went to boot camp at Parris Island, the drill instructors could hit you. Punch you, and they did. You do that today, you'll be court-martialed. So the military age men, most of them are a bunch of wokesters, metrosexual guys anyway. And you're talking about people that are like this Army sergeant yesterday with the Chinese flag. Whoever he is, he's in a unit that's close to the President of the United States so he's around all the wokesters. So he's probably woke. Remember this idiot Secretary of Defense we have, the dumbest Secretary of Defense ever, Lloyd Austin. His main thing is critical race theory. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs, the new chairman that replaced General Milli Vanilli, okay? This guy, he's black, he's Air Force General. He said his primary goal is to increase diversity racially and ethnically of pilots. Oh, that's great, So you're dealing with a different type of military than we used to have.
Well, that may be, and I agree with you there because the military's woke. I mean, look at the guy from Pennsylvania that's a transvestite in there.
Excuse me, transgendered. He gets one of those words. That's like the N-word today. That's like the N-word.
Well, that may be.
I know.
Sorry but I was just appalled at that. and I would rather be kicked out and go with my honor than to follow what they did.
Yeah, but you're a man. I listen. You're a man of another era. I am. I'm getting to that point where I feel like I don't belong in the country now. These others are running it, and think about it. You see the recruiting ads. They had a drag queen doing recruiting ads in one of the branches. I can't remember which one. So someone who's a sergeant, a three-stripe sergeant, is probably what, 22, 24. We're 25 at the oldest. You're talking about what they have so feminized military-aged men today, okay? That these things that we're talking about, they don't. You've seen this story about all the American kids on TikTok praising Bin Laden's letter to America this yesterday. Did you see that? They don't think like us. They have been brainwashed into not thinking like Americans.
I just want to say thank you for the time on the air.
Yeah.
We are going to take this back when Trump gets in, and I guarantee you things are going to change, and I can't wait.
Yeah. All right. By the way, President Trump will be visiting the southern border on Sunday, and it'll be on Right Side Broadcasting. I don't know if it'll be on television. He's going to visit the border and operations of the Border Patrol in Texas and take a little tour. And they say he's going to deliver meals and give some remarks to the press. So that'll be Sunday. President Trump at the southern border. The southern border now, though, is like in Colorado. I mean, they've moved so far north. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is the masked lady in Boca. Hello, Louise. I just want to say I miss Richie, the bus driver. I miss him. Richie, come back. He was like
Yeah.
mascot.
Yeah.
Oh.
A mascot?
I miss the day that this whatever incident happened.
Well, you miss a lot on this program. Richie is not banned from the program. He's pouting.
But I don't know what happened. Are you allowed to say what?
I'm not going to say what he said, no.
No, I didn't know what happened between the two of you.
Do you have anything else for us, Louise?
Yes, I wanted to ask the fellow with the subway incident. Whatever happened? I don't recall hearing anything.
That's true. I don't know what the status of that case is. The Marine that saved a crime victim. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the current status. That's a good question. I'll look into that.
Okay.
All right. Take care. Take care. I don't know. Is she looking for a date? This is like we're bringing back Dateless and Desperate, Steve. All right. Dateless and Desperate. That I filled in for that show once, and a girl called in and did not know it was me that I'd gone out with, looking for a date. I was like, I couldn't believe she didn't know it was me. She had no idea it was me. It was very weird and uncomfortable. Oh my goodness. All right. It was before the internet. There was a radio dating show called Dateless and Desperate. And I'll tell you, every guy that called that show was very desperate. I'll tell you that. But anyway, our number 1-888-GO-CANE 1-888-465-2631 with one of the strangest hosts that you've ever met. Do you remember the name of the host of Dateless and Desperate?
There were a couple of hosts.
Well, the first one, the original, not the second one that had like a...
Robin.
No. Pat Stevens. Another radio person with two first names. It's an interesting thing about this business. There's just something about the radio business that attracts people with two first names, like Brian Craig. First. Yes, she was. Well, I'm talking about here in South Florida. Really? I did not know that.
We had the original. There were several incarnations of Dateless and Desperate.
There was one that was hosted by an escort. That was, oh my goodness. All right, listen, enough of that.
My girlfriend.
Oh, okay. All right. Florida listening? Okay. I don't know. If your wife's around, I don't know you want to be remembering. All right, listen, if you're on hold, hang in there. We'll take our break for the bottom of the hour and be right back.
Making morning radio great again. You're gonna really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
What?
I don't remember what was the last update for the
Oh, yeah. Oh, I forgot I didn't look.
It just said the second-degree manslaughter charge, and then
Yeah.
he's been out since with the $100,000 bond. That was
I stopped. I wasn't going to do the Mask Lady's research after she said she misses Richie.
Oh, yeah. I mean...
I figured I was going to...
I actually got me curious, though, because I'm like, yeah, it just kind of stops. That is weird, though.
Or visit us at lighthousemedicalcenter.com to schedule your consultation today.
The Jupiter Joe Money Show presents Christmas Oldies at Noon. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Join the True Oldies channel every day at noon for Christmas Oldies. Feel the magic of the season with 1 hour of your holiday favorites. It's Christmas Oldies each day at noon. The True Oldies channel.
If you're a homeowner, business owner, or with a homeowners association, and your roof is old or compromised, you need to call Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting. And Tom Laporta will give you a free evaluation. Laporta Contracting was voted one of the best general contractor and best roofers in South Florida. He's honest, knowledgeable, and reliable, and will never sell you a roof you don't need. If you have an insurance claim, call your insurance company immediately. Then call Tom Laporta. New laws are in effect that allow Tom to negotiate directly with your insurance company on the cost of all repairs, so you don't necessarily need to employ a public adjuster or a lawyer. Tom can handle any type of roofing job too. Residential roofing repair, commercial roofs, schools.
Doug, there have always been rules governing certain words you can't say. It's not new. It's just the way it is.
And online at LaportaContracting.com.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 46 years on the air.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. Steve Kane, of course, is here. You know, I was just reading this story during the break. Elizabeth Warren, the Palestinians went up to her in a Cambridge restaurant claiming to be Gazan refugees. And Elizabeth Warren, in the restaurant, demanded that Israel stop the bombing now. Stop the bombing now. Yeah, Elizabeth Warren, the fake Indian. You know, this the Palestinians they're not very smart in this country, okay? This reminds me of Cindy Sheehan. Remember Cindy Sheehan? You remember Cindy Sheehan? She was the one who, sadly, she lost her son in Iraq, and she was protesting George W. Bush. She moved in outside of his ranch in Crawford. She was on TV day and night on CNN and everything else, and she wanted to have a personal meeting with President Bush. And even though she had a meeting, he met with her when she lost her son, and she was trying to end the war. We used to have her on the show all the time. I had her cell phone number. She was on all the time. And then one day, Cindy Sheehan, this is a true story, guys, she said, you know, we keep protesting these Republicans. She said this out loud at a demonstration. She says, we keep protesting Republicans. We've got to stop doing that. We're progressives. We don't vote for them. They don't listen to it. We got to start protesting against Democrats. The next day, she led a mass protest at Senator Hillary Clinton's office. She got cut off. She was being funded by the DNC. It was revealed. I called her on her cell phone. It had been disconnected. Her phone was disconnected. They didn't want her to do the DNC cut off her phone. But when But when she started protesting Democrats, all of a sudden, a woman who lost her mom, or a woman who lost her son, this grieving mom, was no longer on CNN. You never heard from her again. That's right. And that's what the Palestinians are going to find, okay? They went to the White House, okay, they went to the DNC, now they went up to Elizabeth Warren in a restaurant. They're going to get cut off. They don't understand. Liberals, Democrats, anti-Semitic Democrats have been supporting this Palestinian protest around the country. They're going to get cut off if they keep going after the Democrats like this. They don't understand. They're only supposed to go after Republicans. And that's right. Just like Cindy Sheehan. Just like... Yeah. All right, let's back to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, it's Steve from Chicago.
Yes, Steve.
Hello? Hey, Steve, what's up? Hi, I just wanted to know if this mass deportation that Trump is going to do, is it going to be all the people that entered this country illegally? I mean, I don't care if they're vice president, senator, Congress. If they entered this country illegally, they should be deported.
Well, I don't know if he's able to deport everyone that's in the if everyone that was in this country illegally was deported. How's that possible? How is that? I mean, how many illegals are in this country?
I don't know, but if they're illegal now, but a lot of them are becoming members of this country, becoming citizens.
Wait a minute. There's a senator who's an illegal? Who's that senator?
There's a congresswoman or that was an illegal when she entered this country. The one that one of the four, one of those.
The squad.
Yeah, one of.
It's you're talking about Ilhan Omar. She came she came here on what is believed to be a fraudulent visa with being married to a guy that people say is her brother. Yeah.
Yeah, and other people are just finding ways to become citizens that entered this country illegally. I mean, and so I'm just upset about that.
Yeah, you should be.
Yeah, so if he's planning mass deportation, is he going to go to the root of what these people did, or is he...
Yeah, no, Biden.
He hasn't given us all the details yet, but
yeah.
He's a man of his word. If he says he's going to do it, I believe him.
Did you hear Biden? But this is not. I gotta do a disclaimer. This is not a joke. What I'm going to share with you in a moment. But did you hear what Biden's plan was to stop the illegal immigration into the United States? Yesterday he announced it.
I can't wait.
This is so stupid. I couldn't make this stuff up. Okay, I could not make this up. If I was trying to make things up, I couldn't make this up, Steve. Biden yesterday announced that they are going to start welfare programs in Latin America so that people can live a more comfortable life in Latin America and not want to leave Mexico and not want to come to America. I'm serious as a heart attack.
Just himself.
Yeah, that's right. Here's how you do it. He's meeting with the Mexican president today, right? He basically works for the cartels. This is what you say. Close down the border today or all U.S. foreign aid to Mexico and Latin America will be cut off immediately. That's what you do.
Trump...
It's pretty easy. Yeah, and it worked. It worked. I don't know. What do you think it is with them with the open border at this level, Steve? What do you think it is they're
when the ideas first came up, people said that basically what he's trying to do is they're trying to register a whole...
Well, I think it's a little more detailed than that. The Great Replacement Theory, that's Tucker Carlson. I think this is what they believe. I'm not saying you're not wrong. I mean, there's multiple reasons. The Democrats believe, and this is because of the Magga movement, that they've lost power and influence because there's too many white people, and they're trying to reduce. Yeah, they're trying to dilute the white majority in this country. Okay, is what they're trying to do. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and it's obvious. I mean, how can you deny it? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, guys. This is JJ from Mass.
Hey.
Hey, JJ.
Hey, Steve.
I wanted to talk a little bit this morning about, Vivek Ramaswamy. And I'm a little bit, I don't know how to say, I guess, troubled. I'm trying to figure out, and I think my position is obviously, not obviously, but it's different than yours, Brian. And I'm just trying to figure out, maybe I've missed something, because I don't know how. I think one of your main pieces of evidence, and I've heard you mention it, is this Soros connection. So I'm trying to, I understand George Soros is an evil, he's a sociopath, the tendencies, and he creeped me out when I watched the video of him talking about what he did in World War II. It was disgusting. So to me, that guy is a destroyer. He's evil. But I don't see how you can paint that evil onto the brother Paul and his wife Daisy in this scholarship thing, and then pipe that into Vivek. Now, I don't consider any of these guys like Vivek. To me, he's a mosquito that Trump's got nothing to worry about.
Okay, so you think, okay, so Hitler, I just want to, so what you're asking me is, how can I say that Hitler's brother and sister and stuff were not, they weren't bad guys, it was just Hitler? Well, Soros is a Hitler type.
No, I'm talking about Paul, the mechanical.
Yeah. Okay. Soros, okay, the two okay, I don't...
Is Paul bad?
Well, I will tell you this, okay? Now, this is just my opinion, okay? But when you are the sibling of Hitler, you're a Nazi too. You benefit from the Fuhrer. And I don't know too much about the brother, but I know who his big brother is, and that's George. And I find it impossible to believe... whichever one... let me finish my sentence. I'll stand corrected. Paul's... hold on. Let me finish my sentence, then disagree with it. Okay? So it'll sound like... then it'll sound like meaningful disagreement. I was incorrect. George is the younger brother. Paul is the older brother. But I find it impossible to believe that the older brother's success in this country, regardless of who's the elder, didn't have to do with his Nazi collaborator brother's connections and wealth and success. I'm sorry.
Okay.
There's some things that once you're connected to, you can't go back from. My opinion is any connection to George Soros is like porn. Once you do porn, that's it. And the same goes if you're connected to Soros, in my opinion.
I got you. Your opinion. I differ. I agree to disagree with you on this, because I just don't see it. And then it's another leap to assign that $80,000, whatever the scholarship was, to. Now, to me, Vivek, I don't see anything. To me, I've always been very comfortable as soon as Trump announced.
Tell me everything you know about Vivek Ramaswamy prior to him running for president.
Prior to him running for president, let me see.
Mm-hmm.
Anything about him?
There you go. No. I mean, what do you know about his past now? No. What do you know about his life before he was on the campaign trail now?
Well, it's just like you, Brian. I knew nothing about you until I started listening to you.
Yeah, but I'm not trying to get the nuclear football.
You're absolutely right. But at the same time, you asked me what I know about the guy now.
So what do you know? No, you know a lot. Listen, Donald Trump, Biden, all of these people, we know a lot about them because they have a decade of history. We have this guy that came out of nowhere. He's a retired self-made billionaire, they tell us, before he's 40 years old, okay? And all of a sudden, a conservative is a supporter of a pharmaceutical industry guy?
How much research have you done into Vivek Ramaswamy?
There's not much to research. Everything I hear is bad. He's got the Soros connection. Somehow, he couldn't afford graduate school. The Soroses had to pay for it, and now he's a retired multi-billionaire running for president. Okay, we know there's
valedictorian speech at St. X, a Catholic school.
I don't care what his valedictorian speech was. All right, well then tell me what he says. That'll flip me over.
It's this guy. Trump's my guy. I'm voting for him, but I'm not going to disparage somebody just to put him into the ground.
Listen, he can be a Fox News pundit for life. I just don't want him to be a secretary of something for Donald Trump. I don't trust him. I think this is what I think about Ramaswamy. Then we got a break. But here's what I think. I think that George Soros is using his organization, his son, and that orbit. They're using Ramaswamy to do to Magga what George Soros did to our justice system. They're trying to infiltrate it with Soros people.
Research into Vivek and into the...
Well, tell me what I'm missing.
I told you.
What?
You don't know anything about...
Well, I'm asking you to tell... No. I'm asking you to tell me about Vivek.
Okay, Vivek. Yes. Valedictorian speech. I've heard him speak.
Give us something. I got a break, but give us something from the speech that'll awaken us.
From his valedictorian speech?
Yeah.
Well, something that'll awaken us. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you on Monday.
Oh, you'll tell us on Monday. You can't tell. All right. Okay. Yeah, you can call back Monday, but I don't know if that's fair. All right, we'll be right back.
A cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right.
All right, and it's time for the final gold and precious metals report of the week. On the line from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated in Boca, we have William Youngerman. William Youngerman, how the metals ending up the week?
Ending up strong. Yesterday we saw a big move in gold, trading as high as $1,988 a ounce and closing out the day at $1,980.80, which was up $21.60. Silver was up 30 cents after getting to a high of $24.17, closing out the day up 30 cents at $23.72 the ounce. Platinum lost $2 at $894, and palladium was up $6 at $1,024. This morning we saw gold trading another higher number, all the way up to $1,994 after hitting a low of $1,980. Right now at $1,985 the ounce, up $4.20. Silver got nicely over $24 so far today. Right now it's at $24, up 28 cents on the day. Platinum gaining $8 at $902, and palladium up $12 at $1,036. So the metals are doing very well. Those that took advantage of that nice little dip that we had last week are looking very well, and I'm sure are very happy.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Now, I wonder, William Youngman, when people stop in or call you to buy the metals, do they say, all right, I want a Gold Eagle, or I want a Canadian Maple Leaf, or do a lot of people just say, okay, I got this amount of money and I want to buy gold, I want to buy silver, or do most people know what they want?
No, we have both actually on a regular basis. People coming in and asking what we recommend, and we're happy to share that with them. And a lot of people just have their little same things that they like to buy. So there's no particularly bad answer to that.
Yeah.
But we're open to help and advise and guide everybody. And of course, we have all of the major products in stock for immediate delivery. So that makes it very easy for people to pick and choose what they want.
Yeah, and that's why I asked that question, because if you've not bought the metals ever, and you're a newbie, that's cool. You'll find great help, great advice, great guidance at William Youngerman's by William Youngerman and his team over there. Stop in, located in Boca at 150 East Palmetto Park Road on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. Online at williamyoungerman.com. And you can also call, opening up, of course, at 10 a.m., 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010. All right, William Youngman, have a great weekend. We'll talk on Monday.
Okay, you too. Thank you.
All right, back after this.
On the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. Steve's here. I'm looking. I wish that guy would have called in when we had more time to talk about Ramaswamy. Yeah, he'll have all the answers. But I just want to tell you that there's not a lot of evidence, because there's not a lot about Ramaswamy, and I'm not going to listen to what somebody said in college. I don't care what college kids think. Okay, but I believe that he is an agent of the Soros people, and they are trying to infiltrate the Republican Party, MAGA in particular, like they took over our police chiefs and our state's attorneys.
Really got me ticked off, and that is Christie.
Oh!
He is the most,
nasty.
First of all, he's nasty. He has nothing to back him up. All he does is get up there and badmouth Donald Trump. There's no substance to what he says, and it's disgusting.
You know what he is? He's an ogre. He's just a nasty man.
And he's exploiting the situation, trying to pick up, the scraps of what's left of his campaign.
Yeah.
Which never amounted to anything.
And you know what?
3 now. Rating is.
Really?
The presidential race, 3.
Wow. Yeah,
Giving directions to everybody about how horrible Donald Trump is.
when I'm looking to do something, I look for somebody that's successful and ask them for guidance and model myself after the successful person.
100 pounds.
Oh, you're just body shaming him now. But
Let me tell you something. It's just you laugh at that.
No, I'm not. I'm just joking.
Believe me, it's a sign of character. You're so far out of control of your body that you got to walk around weighing 600 pounds. Believe me, he talks about character. Well, that's the first thing that strikes me about his character. Totally out of control of his.
He had that surgery where they put the band on the stomach.
Worked very well.
The band broke. You know what they call his campaign? I'm serious. Chris Christie's campaign. You know what they call it?
What?
Operation Dumbo Drop. I'm serious. You know what I'm saying? Serious. I know. No, it's true. It's true. It's true. I'm not kidding. All right, let's go back to the phones. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, Brian?
Yes.
Yes, okay, so just happy Friday. Just wanted to call you about William Youngerman. Not to change the subject.
Go ahead.
And coming up with the holidays, I decided to give my grandchildren, I have 6 grandchildren, and instead of giving them toys that break the next day or money, I said, what can I give these kids for the holidays? So I went up to William Youngerman, and I bought 6 silver little bars.
Awesome. That's great.
Great way to get kids into savings.
I wish you were my grandpa.
Whenever I go up to William Youngerman, my son drives me, Tyler, and we started doing this ritual when he was young, when he was little, and he developed the whole habit of saving and putting money aside. And it's really shaped his whole values about money.
No, it's great, and if you're it's a great gift idea, and if you're an employer, great gifts for your employees. Each year, a lot of people, I don't know, Steve's humble, probably doesn't want me to share this, but each year as a Christmas bonus, Steve gives me a 1 kilo gold bar from William Youngerman's. Isn't that nice? Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Well, that's for the great job that.
That's right. Yeah.
The store's beautiful, and David was the guy who helped me out, and I just wanted to give you guys a plug.
David's my guy when I go up there. Dave's terrific.
Yeah. Terrific. All right, guys, have a...
Well, thanks a lot. Yeah, you'll find great things for the kids and the grandkids for Christmas. No doubt about that. Let's go back to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. Hello. I'm Steve Kane. Two things. I believe Trump is doing a in-person troll, so they will be nervous in whatever the questions and answer period will be. Just him being in the room will give them the.
Oh, you think he's gonna show up to the debate? You think he's gonna show up in the audience?
I want him to be in the audience. I hope that's the plan. That'll be pretty good. The other thing I call in is Brian. You're the historian.
Oh yes.
World War I, the king of Germany and his Kaiser of Russia, they were not cousins, correct?
All the European royals are related.
Now, and where does the bloodline go back to?
I don't know. Germany? I don't know. What?
The House of Windsor, Britain.
Oh, okay.
We have. I've been trying to hit on and off through the last year, but you disconnected the call. Granted so. But we have a bloodline, Barack, Bush, Clinton, they all have the same bloodline. And the British, since the Boston Tea Party and all...
What do you mean they have the same... What do you mean, Barack is blood related to the Bushes?
Yes.
How so?
It goes back through cousins. But my point is, ever since the Boston Tea Party, the British has always been playing us against each other. Now, we call it the Uniparty now. They've always put us against each other. By creating those two parties, only giving it.
No, you're right. I appreciate the call. I think there's some truth to that. Not the blood relation of Obama, but the Brits still have control over this country. That's true. I got to tell you though, it's the weekend, and I don't know about you, but I got plans on the weekend. And if you're suffering with pain, go see Dr. Appleton today. You can go see him tomorrow too. Appointments are not necessary, and walk-ins are welcome even on Saturdays. And, Dr. Appleton, he's my chiropractor. He wants to be your chiropractic physician, too. Go talk to him about his laser wave pain treatment. It works on so many different types of pain. Arthritis, work injuries, sports injuries, tinnitus, sciatica, spinal stenosis, rotary tears. He's rid me of pain 5 times from sometimes injuries, sometimes just from growing older. And his laser wave pain treatment, it works. My knee pain I suffered from for about a decade. And he treated me for that. Over a year ago, about a year and a half ago, the pain gone. I went in on a Thursday. By Sunday morning, the pain was completely gone, and it has not returned in over a year and a half. That's amazing. Dr. Appleton, by the way, performs all the laser treatments himself, and there are no injections, no drugs, no surgery, no downtime. It is completely painless. You can find him online at AppletonChiro.com, or give him a call, 954-973-0710, 954-973-0710. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jersey Mike from West Palm Beach.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Mike. What's up?
Hey, several things. Trump, as far as I'm concerned, is probably one of the greatest statesmen we've ever had. He's almost similar to Ben Franklin as far as he's the only guy that stepped into North Korea and talked to Kim Jong-un.
Yep.
Going on to something else. Steve, you got the
I say moving right along.
Yes. You got advertised as the oldest radio show in on the air, which I understand because I've been around that long. Why do you do least talking and Brian does all the talking? I'm just curious.
It comes with seniority. The only
Okay.
I cut back a little bit.
Gotcha. I
Let the
understand.
new blood take over.
Steve, I would say, I don't know if I should say it this way, but I will. Steve's kind of like, I don't know, what, a semi-retirement?
Okay, gotcha.
A pre-semi-retirement.
In his life. I understand. I'm at the same age. I'm 77.
Yeah.
And I was in Vietnam. Let me just say this. A lot of us guys don't like to talk about when it went on there, but the Hamas actually beat the cruelty of the Vietnam.
Well, let me ask you. Let me ask you this. Okay, you're in Vietnam, and I know the Chinese were in Vietnam. This story, I don't know if you heard earlier. The U.S. soldier yesterday in San Francisco holding the communist flag of China. Oh, okay. Glad. He was just following orders. Oh, that's a great defense, Steve. I'm glad you're not his lawyer. He was just following orders. He didn't look happy, the soldier. He didn't look happy.
Still the consequences.
Yes. Oh, my goodness. Well, you ask, you get an answer. All right, listen, that's all the time we have for today. If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll be back Monday morning at 6 a.m. And if you're on hold, you'll be first in line Monday morning at 6. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane, of course, is here. This is Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. Celebrating 46 years on the radio. Don't forget to catch Trump on Sunday at the southern border. God bless America. See you Monday.
West FS 104.3 HD3 Miramar. WIRK 103.1 HD3.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe and like the video. Keep an eye out for my live streams this weekend, too. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching.